All right, welcome to the Drunken Chat preview show. While we're waiting for the rest of the panel to show up, we got freaking some of the esteemed podcasters, some of the main men of the freaking community, freaking with me here this night. How's it going, fellas?
Going good, man. It's been a rough day, but you know what I'm saying? We turning it into something positive.
That's okay, man. Freaking God will never put anything on your shoulders that you can't handle.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah,
Straight up.
big y'all, big thoughts and prayers out to Remo and the family, man. They lost their fur baby today, so I know that can be a
Oh
tough
shit.
thing, man.
That's tough.
Oh shit, man. I didn't know that. Sorry about that, brother. Look, man. It's see, man. I haven't had a dog since I was a kid, man. Back in those days, you just
Totally.
find a dog out in the street.
Yeah,
You just
right.
find a dog in the street. You treat him with what you get. You didn't have to get no special dog food. You just give him the dog the turkey bone, off the freaking table. And they live for about 20 years, man. Um,
Exactly.
and then when my last dog died, we just burned him in the backyard. That's just what it is.
Hey,
Now you got ashes
that's
and urns.
man. I did it just like you said, man. I did it old school. Went out in my parents' backyard, dug a grave for him. That way we can visit them every day. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was my dad. We have the parents, and um, when he was born, we gave him to my dad. My dad wanted him, so he was my dad's dog. And then when my dad passed away, my daughter took responsibility for him. So he's been with us for the last 4 years. And then, for him to go, it was kind of tough on her because that was like her last connection with my dad. So she took it kind of hard, and
Oof. Yeah, I can
yeah,
imagine.
so
Was he
hopefully,
was he sick for a long time, or was he just?
we noticed,
Is,
he wasn't acting right for the last few days, and we made an appointment with the vet, and the vet said we were, our appointment he could give us was tomorrow morning, and we had just called yesterday, and he didn't make it through the night. So
oh shit,
I
man.
woke up this morning and found him. So I was just like, fuck, So that kind of threw me off for my whole day because it was the first thing I woke up to. And then, what I'm saying, just the whole process of how it went down and, just going through the motions of just have the emotions and then having to go and bury him and all that. It was tough, man. It was tough.
Oh, and I can't imagine. I hope you didn't have to accrue any type of crazy ass fucking vet bill, man. Because
No, no. See, and that's the thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just
he
he
just
got
passed
sick.
in before he got it.
Yeah,
Before he
he
had to
just
go in.
kind of went, But I was ready to, whatever the price was, I was ready to pay it. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know, man. These prices now,
I
man.
mean,
They
I mean,
really
I got,
you
come
got
here.
some of these
I got,
joints are like $2,000 a day for some of these
I got
places.
his mama. You know what I'm saying? I
Okay,
got the mama,
okay.
and
Look at
she
that
cost
cute little
me.
doggy.
Yeah, something happened to her, and man, it cost me 4 racks. You know what I'm saying? And at that
Sheesh.
time,
Yeah, these dogs cost a
I
Hulk.
didn't have the money. You feel me? And I was like,
These
oh my
Hulks costing these Hulks costing 5.0
yeah, man.
Hulk 181s around this
Yeah,
motherfucker.
man. So and that's what I'm saying. Like it's like this wasn't like a little like Muttley. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't be tripping, but this is my baby boy. You know what I mean? Like he was the family member. You know what I'm saying? Like he had just as much rights and privileges as my daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So you know what I
shit.
mean? Like
You
yeah.
got insurance on these dogs, man, or what?
I actually, what's crazy? I do. I do. You know
Because
what I mean?
my job was offering pet insurance. I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck
I got
you.
it, man. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it, and it's like it ain't too. Well, I'll take that back, man. It costs for the 3 dogs. It costs the same amount it costs for me to cover my family of 3. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hartman, Hartman,
and and it
Hartman.
was a what do you call it? Where I had to. MetLife does it where they reimburse you, so I'd have to come out of the pocket anyway, and then
Yeah,
they'll pay you. You know what I mean? So
shit, man. Hartman Sports Car says he's got a Pinto. He's got a new dog. He's a Pinto disguised as a Lincoln Continental.
I know that's right. Shout out to Hartman too, man. The dude is he's a good time, man.
Marty Mel in the house. He says his boy Zeus is holding on. His time is coming. He's mentally prepared. He's still going to hurt though.
Yeah, oh yeah, man. Like this one, you know what I mean. I wasn't ready for it because he wasn't, you know what I mean. It wasn't his time, you know what I'm saying. So I wasn't ready for it at all. So.
Yeah, Jason Klein is talking about pet insurance. He first thought it was a scam from the vet, but after seeing some of these bills, though.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, that was quick story. Like when after my dog was born, I had her for about maybe a year and a half, and I went to visit my parents, and my mom had a little Pomeranian, so she would let her go in the backyard and do what she had to do and stuff, and she would always bark at there's like an apartment complex behind my parents' house. So where I grew up at, there's like a like a street of apartment complexes, like projects on the other side. You know what I mean? Yeah. And people would be in the parking lots barbecuing, doing what they do. So if my dog is barking at the fence, there's a dumpster back there. So somebody probably got pissed off at my dog barking. So they threw some rat poison over, like a empty rat poison thing over the fence. Yeah. So. And then, my dog can eat anything. So I found her she had ate the thing up and she was chilling, but I was like, I couldn't tell if she ate up the box or if they just threw a box over. So I assumed the worst. So I took her to the vet, one of these after hour spots, man. And they had to pump her stomach and stuff. And man, that junk cost me damn near 3 racks, man. Oof. Like $2,700, man. $2,800. And I didn't have the money at that time, so that shit was like, ouch. You know what I mean? But I was like, shit. So ever since then, I'm like, you ain't going no motherfucking way. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm already into you. You know what I'm saying? $4-5 grand. So you know what I mean? You're gonna have to last. You're gonna have to. You're going to have to be the fucking jetster at this house because...
Inside house, inside out. You an inside dog all the time.
Yeah, you ain't going nowhere. So, yeah, so you know what I mean? So I was very aware to, the whole vet bills. But actually the vet in my vet, he's pretty reasonably priced. You know what I'm saying? He's not... even if you didn't have benefits, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's pretty fair. You know what I mean? Like, he's a good vet. He's got a good staff, and he's got good prices, man.
Yeah, man. Like, look, if your kids were into animals like that, go ahead and freaking nurture that love, man.
Yeah. That's why I said it wasn't his time to go. You know what I'm saying? It was just whatever happened to him was freak, and it just you just got to these I won't say exotic, but these non-traditional breeds of dogs, they all have their own little issues, you know what I'm saying, that you gotta be aware of and you gotta pay attention to, and and they can creep up on you and cause problems when you least expect it. So
yeah, shout out to Mighty Mel V in the house, also to Gary Nesser, the comic perspective in the freaking house. He says he's putting his kids in a veterinary school right now.
Yeah,
that shit is crazy, man. They damn near doctors, man. Look, I know for a fact, man, it's crazy to hear this, man. But some of these cartels, instead of going to hospitals, they just go to vets.
Yeah,
because some of them got the same equipment nowadays. Yeah. X-ray machines and all that shit, man.
Yeah, it's all the same. X-rays, you know what I'm saying? Scalpels, sutures. You know what I'm saying? That's all you really need. Like, you just got to know how to do it. As long as you know how to do it, man. If you can do it on a dog, you can do it on a human.
And their drugs are 100% more, stronger than what the doctor can prescribe. Oh yeah, you freaking need a freaking 800 milligrams. Say what?
I said they pretty much take what we do because when I had to take her to get her taken care of at that after hours vet, they gave her vitamin K. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, if I'd have known that, I'd have just went and got her some vitamin K, you know what I mean? And I'd have saved myself a couple $100 on medication, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, it definitely was, it was not his time. So it was like, it was his time, but
Yeah, man, I guess it's just lucky you didn't have to, put the money in. You know, that's the
No,
one
no,
that
no. That was part of it. But like I said, I would have been willing and able to save
shit.
the what we went through today, like just all
Yeah,
of everything
but then, I mean,
involved.
yeah, but the thing is, man, with that money that you didn't spend, you can get a brand new dog, man.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I got
Yeah,
two. I got two
you
now.
gotta
But
do.
like, I'm like, my boy. I posted, you know, a little memorial of my dog today on my Instagram, and one of my boys he's a French bulldog breeder, and he was like, "Oh man, sorry for your loss. I got puppies for sale." You know what I'm
Really,
saying? Yeah, man. I was
like
just like, I was like,
opportunistic
I was
motherfucker,
like, are
man.
you serious, nigga, right now? Like, really? You know what
You
I'm
gotta
saying?
wait. Yeah, you
I
gotta
was
wait a
gonna be
week or
like, man,
two,
that's too
man.
soon, dog, too soon. But I feel you. I feel you.
All right, man. So while the CBSI guys are up to number 2, we're gonna scroll very quickly through the DC Connect previews, and then after that, we're gonna do the hard boot and continue on with the show. For those that don't know, DC Connect that is the previews magazine for all the DC stuff that is coming out later. And if you don't know by now, you guys should definitely be looking at that stuff. Looks like some of the stuff that's coming out in October. So for instance, like Batman number 128, it's got a 150 jock cover. Um, Batman Riddler Year One, some of the previews. Have y'all? So since look, so ninth, you've been hyping up some of the DC stuff for a while and how fantastic some of the covers. Are you just in for the covers, or have you been reading any of the stories lately?
Um, man, let me be all the way transparent. I'm so far behind on my reading, like it's ridiculous. Like I got a little comic queue over here in the corner, and that thing is filled to the brim with books that I need to catch up on reading. So I haven't been reading anything DC, Marvel, or Indies. And to be honest, I'm kind of down on DC right now. As hard as I've been going for them, man, they just having too many problems right now, bro. Like, sheesh.
Yeah, well, so what you're referring to is the different projects that Warner Brothers Discovery has canceled. The biggest one that everybody kind of honing in on is the Batgirl, but it's like nobody really asked for Batgirl in the first freaking place. So they should have never freaking. If I would have done like a Robin, the Damian joint, right? But no, Damian, you got Teen Titans and people like that one. But Batgirl, that's the last project I would have fucking did. Um, but from what I have heard, I mean, they haven't canceled the Penguin project yet because that was supposed to be a spin-off of that new Batman movie. Um, Everyone go home for the holidays. Nice. How are you seeing that how much 8 billion genies is number ones is selling for? Yeah, hold up, you're muted. You're
No,
still
I was
muted.
just saying, let me see. I haven't checked that book in a while.
Yeah,
Man, are you talking about the Bird City variant or just the regular gray?
I think he's talking about just the A cover A.
Don't tell me that because I got that hitting under a stack of books right now.
Yeah, I think
Disrespected like a motherfucker.
yeah, I think he said major issue said $40 a pop.
Okay, that's nothing.
I mean, that's still decent. I mean,
Dang,
if
yeah,
you
that's
I ain't
still
even got.
yeah, that's still a
$40, I mean, for a cover price book that came out what 3-4 months ago.
yeah, that's still a nice little chunk of change.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if
That's
you can
still
You
a
jump,
nice
see,
little chunk of change.
Steady Birds. Okay, so on a Hot 10 list, they said Steady Bird and still going. 98s are now 210 to 235. Raw copies are 50 to 60.
now, I mean, now is it really going for 210 or is that what you know? Because I think though I would venture to say that A cover is pretty abundant, right? No.
Well, gotta remember they just
No,
they
because
just had they just had a about 2 or 3 weeks ago they had a returns for the retailers, right? So even if they ordered a bunch, I know for a fact that the retailers they would have like ripped the shit up or freaking returned it. So there's not a, so even if Comic-Con puts up some crazy numbers like, hey, this is how many, no, that's not that many exist anymore unless it's already out there. So whatever you got in your freaking box, that might be it. If your retailer has it back in the back, that's good luck. Take that shit.
So I won't go on with it. I mean, I mean, that's one of those books. I mean, like I said, I'm sure you could probably go to a comic shop and still find them on the rack, maybe the A cover.
I don't know, man, because that book been pretty hot for a while now, man.
It has been, but I mean,
I honestly I haven't really been to a bunch of
I know somebody personally that
comic shops lately.
Bought a stack of them in the last few weeks, like, you know what I mean, off the rack.
So man, I mean,
I just think it depends on which shop you go to. You know what I mean? Like, I think the last DC thing I bought, I watched or read, and I was, like I said, I'm not the biggest DC fan whatsoever, was the Black Manta. So that was what, last year? The end of last year?
Still a good story that they probably should.
No, it was good. It was, but that was the only one. I tried to get into the Batman. Was the one with we liked the cover of it. And it had a new character in it, and they had the 1 in 25, and he was in the like
Batman Beyond.
It was Beyond, but it was a different title, Batman Beyond something.
Neo Year,
yeah. I tried to get started in that, and I just never. A bunch of stuff started coming out of that. Like I'm like ninth. I started that new job, and I just ain't been able to catch up on books, man. With my reading at all, so.
See, Batman Incorporated #1 that says Ghostmaker leads the international team. I don't know who half these motherfuckers are. I think that's the Clown Killer right there. It's Ghostmaker. I don't know.
That looks like Clown Hunter.
That's not what's his name in the front? Designer? That's not it.
That's ain't that?
That's the Ghostmaker right there.
Oh, Ghostmaker.
Yeah, Ghostmaker. Yeah.
The one to the right, that's Clown Killer, I think.
Clown Hunter. Yeah.
I don't know who the rest of these guys are.
Probably some first appearances in here.
I mean, maybe like half of the cover.
I check and see, but then again, man, it's DC spec, bro. I mean,
DC spec is broken. Especially, I think it started to really break after the wedding. That was when the motherfuckers really gave up. It was like they try to bring it back with Punchline and shit, but nobody gives a fuck about Punchline anymore.
That 1 in 25 look all right though, both of them. Like the cover.
1 in 50 by Jess Spokes, 1 in 25 by Derek Chew.
Yeah, those don't look bad. That's pretty tight. She looks dope.
Oh.
Ghostmaker.
Wow, what you got? Nice.
Nothing. I hit you back. I hit you all up on the side about it.
He must have had an epiphany.
No, I'm over here bagging and boarding books, and one of the books is sheesh.
So this is on FOC or this is just a preview?
Just a preview. No. So, looks like some of these are coming out in October though.
Gotcha.
This is what the way Drunken Chat actually started, man. We've been just going through previews back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that 1 in 25 for Dark Crisis on Infinite Earth was good, man.
Yeah. Who is that? That's sick. Is that just a skeleton?
Ariel Colon. Now, if you really wanted to do freaking Latin heritage, DC, that's the way to freaking do it.
Yeah, right.
Instead of fucking having a dude running around with a bag of tamales.
That was... Yeah. I can't even.
Like, yo.
They might as well have Miles with a bucket of chicken, and you know what I'm saying? That's like having Miles on a cover with a bucket of chicken and some, you know what I mean? Like just kind of some watermelon and shit.
The artist who did the cover is Hispanic, and that's one thing I think when people feel like, oh, I'm Hispanic or I'm black, so I can do this.
No, you can't, bro.
You can't. Like
You
you
don't
still
speak
gotta.
But there's a fundamental point of like, first of all, you got a Viva Mexico, but you don't have the Mexican fucking flag up there.
Yeah, it just didn't. It just didn't seem
it's
like
red,
you
white,
did.
and green. And
Yeah.
then I got into it with Lucy because I was like, why? It's like anybody that eats really good tamales knows you don't carry that shit around in a fucking bag. She was like, oh no, the best ones I've ever eaten came out of like a senora was selling it out of the back of our car. I was
Yeah,
like, well,
I mean, I can vouch for that. Yeah, for sure. I can vouch for that now. But I'm just saying, I don't think that there's, there's a time, that saying there's a time and a place for everything. The cover of a comic book, really, and in this climate, if you ain't doing it the most like, Michelin star way, you can't do it. You ain't doing it like you
how
can't.
come?
Be offensive.
Right. So what I would like to know is, because part of Batman's heritage is this guy who was a bandit from back in the day, and that was the guy that inspired Zorro. How come they didn't delve into that for one of the freaking covers?
See, and that's what I mean. Like to have that wealth of information at your disposal, and you decide to have Green Lantern with a bag of tamales, like,
and
really?
then Hawk Girl serving some plantains and shit. Like,
I mean, I wasn't so mad at that one because, like, you know what I mean. It was like a superhero server, kind of made a server, a superhero. You know what I mean? Like put him in the same thing. But that dude just looked like he came out of the carniceria just like a bag of tamales, and he was ready to get, project the Green Lantern and get it popping. You know what I'm saying? It was on some Homie the Clown shit. Like it just wasn't like it didn't look right. It was just like like that. It's like it ain't bad, but it's like it comes off as such. You know what I mean? Like,
look, they did the same thing for the Asian heritage joints, but I wasn't mad at that because all that shit is delicious, and I was just getting hungry looking at that shit.
Yeah, but they didn't do it in a negative tone. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just seemed like this one they just missed the mark on a few of them. I'm not gonna say they were all, like I said, they weren't all bad. But some of them you just didn't get the point. Like you didn't get the memo right. Like it was,
Ooh, look at that Bloodstone. That's strange. That's
sir. That's the
first appearance of I forget what the name of
Lyra Bloodstone.
Lyra, yeah. Is that the first print?
This is the one. First print 1:10 ratio variant. Got it off Lucas on his whatnot sale. Lucas be having heat on there.
Man, I came on there and I was sitting in the drive-through of Starbucks and it was just like a last second thing. I popped on. I'm like, oh shit, he's on. And Lucas was like on there for a few minutes. It was just music playing, and then all of a sudden it just like streaming. I was like,
the OS be fucking up on me. Like
I was like, what is this? Man? And I heard and I seen all the stuff you sold. I was like, these motherfuckers came up. It was eating. Lucas is giving away deals.
Yeezy. So it looks like we got a quartet. So let's actually get into the actual show. Let's go.
For each man in his time to pay. Until you walk along the beach and see this future in the water. Along the pond within his reach.
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
As you guys know, it is Drunken Chat Son.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this Friday. It's a sad day because this is going to be the first one for a while without Mel. We got all of our own little things going on. But let me go ahead and let these gentlemen introduce yourselves. I want to start with Remo, man. Freaking, we had some sad news that you got in your family, man. Freaking, we were talking about it during the preview show. How's it going, brother?
All right, man. Like I said, we lost one of our dogs today, so it's been a rough day. We've been trooping through it. You know what I mean? The family's been taking it pretty hard. We all been taking it hard, but tomorrow's a new day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But you was laying it on me about how much doctor bills, vet bills
Yeah,
can
I
cost,
mean,
man. You was
they
talking
cost.
about Hulk 181 movie money.
Yeah,
Like,
man. It
God,
costs. Like I said, they become a part of your family. So at some point, you know what I mean. Like it comes along with us. Like
Condolences, Grandma.
yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. If your kid gets hurt, you got to take him to the emergency room. You know, it costs money, man. The deductibles are pretty high. So, with pets, they don't fall in that line for everybody. So you got to pay for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've had some issues where I paid,
yeah, man. Freaking,
2017 Hulk 181 prices, but yeah.
yeah, look. If they got dog insurance, you know what they're going to have pretty soon. They're going to have dog retirement homes. Actually, they do have animal retirement homes, right? Where you got let
Yeah.
them roam alone on the
They got the what's it called? Like the extended stay. Like if I go on vacation, I could take my dog to like the care center. You know what I
It's
mean? They'll
crazy.
keep it for the week. And I mean, like I said, my dog has. I've had to go and pick my dogs up from jail before. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to bail them out. I didn't have to. You know what I mean? Like I said, get them stitched up. I didn't have to. Yank them off whooping up on other dogs and they, a quarter of their size. So, I mean, it just, there was never a dull moment, you know what I mean? So it was like having, 3 extra kids, so.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
I hear that.
But you know what? I know people get pissed at people who say, "Hey, my dogs are my kids," but you know what? I've seen people that should not have kids.
Oh, yeah.
So if dogs is the alternative, let's go.
Yeah,
but you got kids though. So.
Yeah, I got one, and I got friends that have no kids, and like you said, they either have a dog or a few dogs, or they got cats. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then but they will definitely give you every excuse in the world why they're happy without having kids. And I'd be like, yeah, I used to say that.
I would say, like, if you were with a lady and you are not sure,
yeah,
y'all should marry her. Get a pet, not a cat, because cats are too chill. Get a natural
chinchilla or something.
Yeah, get a natural see how y'all roll and see how y'all can coordinate. But so once again, condolences, Remo.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Ninth, what's going on, babe?
Another beautiful day in YouTube land. Was on with the ladies for Near Nirvana earlier, talking about Game of Thrones. Now we on DC. I think I done did a podcast every night this week. So just getting in the back in the flow of things, getting back to the grind, man, and creating content. Y'all make sure y'all go follow me on my YouTube channel, Ninth Wonder Comics, and also go follow me on Instagram as well.
Yes, sir. Is that a real giant size X-Men behind you, man? Never noticed that before.
Look at all them keys back there, and
Those
tell
are
me
for
if
real
you think you tell me if you think I own all of them keys raw, and I just leave them sitting out in the sun all day. No, those are all facsimiles.
Okay.
Fake it till you make it, baby.
Testify.
Yee.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I survived another week.
Another key to the left hand side of you. Got the New Mutants up.
Yeah, double signed. Well, I love having this book for you. Yeah, I always try to put a different magazine book. It may be time to like rotate it out, but yeah, I'm just chilling. Happy to be here.
No gig tonight. No ass to eat out tonight.
Not tonight. It's a long weekend though, so.
And Blind Adam, brother,
Speaking
how's
of
it going,
eating ass,
I tried to come on the show this week, man. You guys freaking blocked me out, man. It was crazy.
I don't think we did. I know we gave you administrative controls.
I was chilling in the back. I was chilling outside. I was like, oh man, it's cold out here. But, yeah.
Then,
In the meantime, freaking, Autumn was out there freaking super slutty, man. It's crazy.
that's why I pay her the big bucks. But this is gonna be the longest 5 days of my life, so I'm just trying to do things to keep myself distracted till Thursday.
Yeah. And hey, blessed to you, the all you subscribers and listeners out there. I see you guys going wild in the chat right now. And it was like some of y'all got some theories on what happened this week. We will get to every single one of that for this because I definitely wanted to get and talk to. Look, D23 is going to happen next weekend, right? So go ahead and flesh it out inside the chat. What you think Marvel is going to talk about, and what books we should be speculating on before the freaking news drops. All right, we already know some type of X-Men shit's going to freaking go down and all that other stuff. But what do you guys think? Do you guys have any theories right now on D23 and what they're going to freaking talk about?
There's been a few rumors already, right, of what's gonna supposedly drop. What was it? The cast and director of Fantastic Four was like one of those rumors I heard. I think also Deadpool 3 was something that caught my attention. I don't remember that whole like tweet, but I saw a flash of it somewhere.
You said the director of Fantastic Four. Who's that supposed to be? I think, or did we talk about that last week? I forget. I think. It was supposed to be the dude from WandaVision.
Oh, I heard director and cast.
I don't know who's that. Is that the dude from WandaVision?
Yeah, I guess it wasn't the guy from WandaVision directing Fantastic Four.
Yeah, because that's what I heard was already like a thing.
But I think Aaron's saying that they're going to announce who the cast is going to be.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I'm not ready for a Fantastic Four yet. Like I loved how they sprinkled them in the Doctor Strange movie. I think that was awesome. But I'm not ready for a Fantastic Four, especially unless are you going to talk about the kids? Is that going to be a thing? Are you going to bring up the Skrull kids, right?
Sure.
That would be interesting, right? Because we got the Skrull Wars and all that shit.
I was thinking also about what Gary's talking about with the horror. Aren't we going to get that Werewolf by Night?
Right. That's supposed to be in December, right? Around Christmas.
Or some of the what was that? The Midnight Suns, that type of stuff. Is that going to get kind of start pushing that direction? The horror aspect of it, Blade.
Right, because we got the Midnight Suns game.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I would like to see more Shi'ar stuff. Right.
Well, it seems like they're trying to set up more cosmic stuff, anyways.
Yeah, but you don't you want to have the X-Men if you're doing the Shi'ar stuff? Like,
no, because if we're talking about like Hercules, right?
Oh
yeah, Hercules and Zeus. Like so, the last volume of Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter Quill was fighting against Hercules and Zeus at the same time. They destroyed each other, and they ended up inside one of the Emkron crystals. While Peter Quill was there, he had a threesome with these weird alien beings. He actually had a son.
Awesome sauce.
So would you introduce the Shi'ar maybe in the Eternals realm? That you know what I mean, or would you do it Guardians of the Galaxy? Just kind of make mention of them, so that you kind of can introduce them later.
That's a good question. That's the thing. Like, where do you mention them? Don't forget, in the last Black Panther volume, not this one, not the current one, the last one. The Emkron crystal was mentioned as well.
Right.
And of course, the gods of the Emkron crystals are the Shi'ars.
But was that the other version of Black Panther, the galactic one where he was?
Right. Well, that's the current one. So people forget that the current Black Panther that's running around right now, that's not the real Black Panther.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like the current Tony Stark that's running around right now, that's not the real Tony Stark either.
Because they were mining those crystals, right? When he was a slave, is that what they were mining? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were mining. They were mining the other shit, the other metals, and they just happened to find that crystal.
They found the crystal,
Mm-hmm.
and then they started fighting over it.
See, Cosmic Gold has a good idea, hoping for a strange academy.
They're about to launch a second volume, right?
Yeah.
So they're older. Which one do you go with? This version, volume 2, or do you start off as kids?
You start off with volume 1, right? No, you freaking so like I've said before, if you want to see which way the MCU is going to go, see a bunch of characters that keep showing up over and over and over again. Reptile, that joint that Mel hates, that teen that can change into a dinosaur at any moment. He's going to be in a couple teams coming out in 2023 or in late 2022. His cousin is just showed up to Strange Academy in like the last 3 or 4 volumes or something like that. So that's like that might be a thing. I don't know.
Remember, I did the presentation on her, Eva Mendes. Get that Marvel Voices community is where she shows up in Strange Academy.
His sister, right? Yeah.
His cousin, yeah.
So what
First
about
appearances in Reptile #1?
Yeah, what about going back to the book that Knife showed earlier, the Bloodstones? Like, where you see them?
Oh yeah, she gonna be in volume 2 of
so
Strange Academy.
Does she get introduced before her sister, or for that matter, the father, or you know what I mean?
And I think I've talked about this before when Ultra was on. So there's like the stones. There's not just like there's not just the Bloodstone. There's like 5 or 6 stones that are out there. Werewolf by Night is one of those stones. Is it Darkhawk? Has another stone, and then Bloodstone, Werewolf by. And then there's like 2 or 3 other stones. There's a mystery stone that's out there that has never been revealed yet.
Doesn't Turk from Daredevil have one of those stones?
No, those are actually different stones.
Okay.
Those are different stones. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, those are.
Those stones.
Yeah, I know what stones you're talking about, but I think those are different stones. So those are part of the reality stones of what's the name of the girl that was trying to take over for Captain Marvel at one point? I forget what her name was.
So how do?
Oh, are you talking about Star?
Yeah.
Do we introduce the X-Men, or like, is it necessary? Is that something, you know what I mean? And then if you do, are you introducing a different team?
I think you sprinkle them in first, and what you got there, Nice?
This is Strange Academy Unlucky 13 variant. I think this first cameo appearance, a gas lamp in here. So, and those are low printed too. Like a shop's in order a lot of those. So a good Strange Academy book. Hold on, Remo. Don't be giving them too much sauce now.
Pointing at the tentacles.
Tentacles, yeah.
Strange Academy.
Strange Academy. Doctor Strange #2. Oh yeah, it's got the Strange preview. Strange Academy preview. Hey! Don't we putting all that out. Yeah. So that first book you had was Reptile, right?
Mm-hmm.
That nice book had up. Is that the first appearance of old girl, Eva Mendes?
His cousin, and then
Reptile #1 is her first appearance.
And she's all over that book, so it ain't like it's just a panel. You know what I mean? Like, she's in the book.
Gary Nesser, man, if you want to come on, man, freaking let me know. We'll try and get you a link, man. In fact, I think you should come on because he's like the major speculator. I would love to hear him talk about what he thinks.
The comic perspective is awesome sauce.
Yeah, Gary's amazing. Legend.
Yeah.
Send him the link. Tell him to come chill for 20,
Eric,
30, 45 minutes.
Eric, could you do that?
Yeah, Gary, I'm going to send it to you on Instagram.
Yeah. Hyde Nathan says he would like to see Punisher in Armor Wars.
I would love to see that. I don't think we're gonna see that.
Now
Gotta
Jayhawk's Off Earth, Blue
maybe
Marvels, and the Marvels.
I would love to see that though. I want to see Punisher in Armor Wars. That'd be dope.
Wookie Fodder 80 says he thinks that we're going to get a Midnight Suns announcement. Ghost Rider 28 and 31 are down 50% by then. Now,
like 50% of cover, or what the going rate was, because I still don't think I would have paid $25 for that book. I don't think I can do it.
You guys think we'll get Jessica Jones news?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say that. Yeah, I agree.
I'm betting on that. That and possibly Luke Cage.
He said hit him up. He said he's going to refresh his drink.
Sweet. I think I'll message him on Twitter too, because I know he prefers that usually, right?
All right, that was weird. I don't know why my shit shut off like that. Let's see. Wikifighter says Gary Nesser, the 1-100 has been disappearing off eBay. Very interesting. The 1-100 for what, Wookie? Yeah, I've been missing a lot of shit. Okay. Gary Nesser says watch the October Marvel horror anthology. Kicks a lot of books into gear. I'm gonna write that down later. I don't want to do any drunk punch purchases right now.
I know, right?
Let's see. Hi, Nathan says Maestro. He wants to see Maestro.
See, maybe, but I could see him like in a Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that.
I think this one is interesting. Hi, Nathan's also mentioning Gwenpool.
Hell yeah, that would be amazing.
And
this is you're muted, Knife.
I was just saying we're not getting no Gwen.
Yeah, I don't think that.
We're not, but we should.
People
It'd be nice if they. I mean, you gotta show Spider Gwen first, right?
Yep.
Like,
and mainstream hasn't done that yet.
Well, yeah,
it's a different character.
Yeah.
Looks like Manny has a message for Aaron. Is it don't eat ass, people? Not all assholes are clean.
Testify.
They will be before you eating them.
Testify.
It's a prerequisite.
I do think this is a hidden one. Peter Porker says lots of Star Wars news coming up. Pick up your Kanan #1 and #6 going to be announced, and more of the cast. Okay.
That's a good one.
Notice
that, I just wish I had them graded.
Gary Nesser says, notice that Marvel is giving us the taboo Werewolf by Night in MCU, but bringing Jack Russell back in Moon Knight. Harping for streaming. Anyone know if the true Disney can't use the X-Men until 2025? Is that a thing?
Yeah. I think so.
That's only 3 years away, though. So it's not like Spider-Man where they can't use, like they have to ask. Like it's just okay. We'll wait 3 years, but I'm sure they can introduce the characters. They probably just can't introduce the team of X-Men. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this one is a very, very low on the radar. Gary Nesser is also mentioning watch Ghost Rider #1, 1-50. I think this one was this year. It was either this year or last year. It was the first appearance of Talia Warroad. She's got like some type of paranormal power. She delves into another sphere. She is assembling a new supernatural team right now. For those that haven't been reading Ghost Rider, so she's an interesting character. She looks like she belongs more in like a Constantine universe, but she's like operating in the Ghost Rider universe right now. It's kind of interesting. Collectors drop knowledge about books that they're reading and characters to watch. Absolutely. Watch Cullen Bloodstone 2 and of course Ulysses.
Yeah, Ulysses is the dad. It's like an
Gary
old.
Nesser says those are Infinity Gems. Well, there's the Infinity Gems, but there's these other gems they're not the Infinity Gems. They're different gems.
Yeah, the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Infinity Gems got split up, right? Like after
Right.
again.
Right. Yeah. So the ones regarding like Star and Quantum
Yeah.
and Random Fucko, yeah, those are the Infinity Gems. But there's like the Darkhawk gem and the Bloodstone gem. And it's weird.
And those are different. Yeah.
I'm wondering when are they actually going to bring in Adam Warlock, right? Because we've been talking about that for years.
Oh, they've been teasing that so
Yeah,
long.
but they said he's supposed to be in Guardians, right?
Yeah, Guardians Volume 3.
They said that before every Guardians film.
Yeah, right. But then we've already seen the Cocoon. You know what I mean? So
Sinister Titan is asking if they announce Midnight Suns. I don't know if they're going to do that because the big thing is supposed to be the game that's coming out. Which book's the one to get? Ghost Rider number 28 or Doctor Strange Damnation number 2? I don't remember Midnight Suns and Damnation
Probably go
number
with
2.
Damnation number 2. I think that's the team they're going to focus on a little bit.
Luis Olivio says he likes the theory that Mr. Sinister was suppressing the mutant gene, but got blipped and mutant began seeing their mutation. Never heard that one. H&H says also don't forget the Ravencraft #1 Strange Academy preview.
Which one?
I don't know. Was there one? Well, so there was. I remember. There was.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that one. That was one that was like specifically just about the origin of the prison. Like
the prison. But there's ratios for that one too.
Yeah, there was. Wasn't
ratios for the Ravenscroft.
Yeah, so that would probably be the one to get because I definitely know people were fucking with Ravencroft. It was like,
yeah, for real. I think there's a 1 in 25 and I think a 1 in 50. I could be wrong though. But I think I remember my shop was telling me that I think he got one. He got him because he ordered. He went in on Ravenscroft.
So isn't Gwenpool owned by Sony since she is a variant of Gwen Stacy? Is she? Is she though? I forget.
Well, Hulu had the rights to that, right? Because of MODOK. Because there was that rumor that she was going to show up in season 2, but they canceled after the first season.
I wonder why.
Because no one watched it.
or because they knew that people were gonna want that and they couldn't deliver it.
That's probably true too.
Uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, comic book royalty and motherfucker that's going to drop some knowledge on you. Gary, motherfucking Nesser. How's it going, Gary?
Hey, guys. Cheers.
Hey.
How's everybody doing out there?
Is that moonshine?
Taking
pages out of my book?
No, I'm drinking, what is this, Mr. Black?
Nice.
What is Mr. Black, dear sir?
You know what? I'm getting the echo. I'm going to take my Bluetooth off and see how I do.
Because you sound fine.
I'm getting my own self in.
Because of my tech. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Perfect. So I'm drinking this Mr. Black. It's a 50% like coffee liqueur, and I add a little cold brew bourbon and a little iced coffee, and that keeps me going while I'm drinking. So I had So I figured anyway. I love tuning into you guys, but I have gotten I'm hitting 50 next year. I'm getting old for I've hit half my lifespan, and I think I can't do these late nights, but I wanted to come up because Ninth Wonder, I love his stuff on Instagram, and I wanted to hang out and see what he does on here. You, as always, Lucas, we go way back. Blind Adam, enough said. Aaron, of course, as well. And so you were talking about this book, right? Bloodstone. So this is first Ulysses Bloodstone, right? Marvel presents one. This is the British, the 9/10 version.
Really? Okay.
Nice.
Issue 2, right?
Yeah.
One thing, Lucas, and Infinity Gems, I meant for the gems that went to Star and all them, but the other stones you're talking about, I know you've been on that a long time. This book, Bizarre Adventures, this actually has a Nick Klein cover on it.
Okay.
It has a Shang-Chi story, but it also has a Ulysses Bloodstone story about a Skrull coming to get the stone, which came from outer space.
Really?
So tying in those stones, looking at what they're going to do with this whole trying to link stuff together. That's a possible book. Ghost Rider, that's at 1 to 100. A couple of those we spoke about. I think
Talia Warworld.
Talia War. Now, she looks to me, if you used to read Transmetropolitan, she looks like a Derek Robertson, like Warren Ellis character. And I heard you saying she looks like Constantine. It looks more like a DC type character popping in Ghost Rider, but
yeah,
she's going to tie a lot together. She's bringing in this whole sort of crew that's connected there. So we'll see how that's going. And I think also start looking at vampire stuff. This was hated when it came out, The Curse of the Mutants. This is the 1 to 50, I think. For that, that had those great Adi Granov covers, and people were sort of saying, "Oh, well, what's going to go on with Blade? How are we going to introduce the X-Men? It's either going to be through this."
What cover is that?
That's the X-Men 4, and this was Victor Gischler who did this whole vampire run. He also did stuff with the son, his son in that book. I forget what it's called, but it's a Dracula, like a Son of Dracula book. So those are the covers you want to be looking at. These are all over. These this is cheap Granov, right? You don't want to leave that on the table. One other book, and we spoke. I think I love the Greg Smallwood, right? The Marvel
Comics 1000.
Even though CGC, if you can see this, they put Keith Champagne as doing the cover and the variant, so they screwed up. It's Greg Smallwood, of course. So that's CGC.
CGC mess up? Never.
Keeping up that great job, right?
What's up with that?
I don't want to come and hijack the show. I feel like I talk too much, but I just pull.
No. I'm glad you're on because you were dropping a lot of stuff in the chat, man.
No, yeah. Please stop me if I hate doing that because that's why I run a one-man show because I never stop talking. I think you talked a little bit maybe about the X-Men, and I think one of the characters that you're going to start to see return to. Yeah, this is Rasputin. She, of course, is the Chimera, or I know some people say Chimera, however you want to pronounce words when you're reading a comic, doesn't matter. No one cares. That drives me crazy, right? I forget what word it was for a while. Everyone was killing on there. But this is a Stephanie Hans variant cover for this one. And I also grabbed, just because I love Perel, that was for the PC, right? To go along with that one.
Yes.
So this was for those who, of course, and I know Sinister is developing all this hybrid of mutants. We're about to see this Age of Sinister come into play. He also does have Thunderbirds, his actual chromosomes. He's the mutant gene within Sinister. He was the first person experimented on, though he's the first true Chimera, whatever it is. So I think this covers you want to look at.
So
right?
Pause, Gary. So going back to the old Power of X, House of X stuff, there was a timeline of how it's all going to lay out, right? They said, hey, there's first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. I forget which generation it is, but it's in between the third and fourth, because everybody knows that after so many copies, those copies are not as good as the originals, right? And I think it's the fourth generation that gets absolutely corrupted. So this might be that generation that freaking gets corrupted. Because what they addressed it as, hey, that third or fourth generation was corrupted, but we don't know exactly why because the corruption was a lot faster. So it might be because Mr. Sinister was doing something for whatever freaking reason. So that leads into what you're talking about.
Yeah, and thank you. That's why I need someone to bounce off of. I remember I used to do that morning show with Nico. He would slow me down, but exactly right. So what you're thinking of there is, you're reading those text pages, right? Like Hickman puts those text pages in the back for a reason. Yes. Same thing with when you see, I think it's the Omega Sentinel, right? She sort of turns on them. She's working with Nimrod, right? Nimrod,
yes.
And when they go into that black hole, right, they say, Zorn opens up and it's like he creates a singularity and she's like, well, you don't know where we're going to go. And she's like, well, either do you. And they all disappear into that black hole. Now, Hickman talks about singularities being like connections, right? Like this sort of like these roots between the past and present. So what I'm thinking is that singularity could open up anywhere, right? It could open up in another time. So that's how you bring characters back. That's how other writers take what writers that worked before them, they build things up. We just saw Dan Slott end his run on Fantastic Four. You put the toys back in the toy box when you're done, but you leave certain things out there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's what these writers are doing. Like, you see people looking at Empire Zero because they didn't reset the kids. They kept the things kids. They're still a part of the run that's coming up next. So those are the things that you look at because, characters, writers love to use their own characters again and again. That's why I love a Jed McKay. I love, we were just talking about him for Ben Percy, the guy who does Wolverine, and he does a couple other books. That these are the characters. I'm sort of burnt out like everybody is. Donny Cates, take a character, take another character. It's like your chocolate, your peanut butter cup, and then it disappears. Right. Cosmic Ghost Rider. Look at those books.
Yeah.
You have to look at where are characters that have sustainability in a universe. And that's always, if you're a collector, if you're a speculator, you can be both, but you can't be one purely or the other unless you sort of split it apart from one another, right?
Exactly.
That's where we are.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
I have other books, but I want you guys to talk a little. I'll jump in.
Well, I mean, look with Donny Cates thing, and him collaborating with Al Ewing and them, and their different books kind of playing off each other. Al Ewing, he was setting up stuff years before he got into the Hulk stuff and all the other stuff, and then Donny Cates jumped in on top of that stuff. So I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I forget what else you were talking about. Man, I tell you what, this pina colada I'm freaking drinking, it's got me all freaking jacked up. But
I got you tongue tied up.
Yeah. It's because you brought it. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. So no, because we were once again we're speculating on right now, and I remember I hate the word speculator. I like I think alternative investor is a more important word. D23, right? That's coming up in a week. Supposed to start the 9th. I got it right up there. 9th, 10th, 11th of next week, right? We're talking about, hey, what's going to happen? What is this is going to announce, right? I see some amazing things that you guys have been putting out in the freaking chat, right? People talking about X-Men. Which storyline are they going to do? Are they going to start the Power of X, House of X, and all the other stuff? Or are they going to do Star Wars? Well, of course they got to do Star Wars, right? I think a character that we're kind of missing out on that John Hickman has kind of tried to establish as very important is old girl who's had, you just brought up one of her covers, the Rasputin cover, who is Ashley. I forget what her original name was, and then she's had 9 or 10 lives and some shit. What's her name again? Remember, Gary? The lady with she's got like 10 lives or some shit.
Moira.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Are we undervaluing her right now? Should we think of her as, because John Hickman says, hey, she's important. She's been all over the place.
I think you have a tough time doing that because Hickman left before he finished his story, right? It's sort of an incomplete story. I think you have a better chance of looking at some of sort of the divergent books that were away from the main X-Men book that Hickman was doing, because he let other people sort of run a little, right? They had a basic outline of what they were doing. They were peripherally connected. I think Moira is a character that's, she's tough to do, right? They've tried to do big storylines and they can't handle big storylines. X-Men works best when it's a soap opera type book, right? Anyone who got into X-Men, that Chris Claremont run back in the day when whether you came on with, right back with John Byrne, whether you rolled through with like Paul Smith was my early, and then John Romita Jr., and then you started to get to Mark Silvestri, but everyone has their X-Men artists, but don't forget, Claremont was the architect behind it. So I think you go back, really, go back to basics. Like Claremont's a kook now, but if you look back to what he was doing, he knew how to write those kind of books that would be, you don't get the same team dynamic anymore. And I think that's one of the things you really have to look at when how do you approach the X-Men in a way that's going to stick, because there's been some greatness, but it hasn't lived up to the potential.
Right. I mean, because, and I see what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to, what they tried to do was build it out. They tried to build out the world, right? Where, hey, we're building a nation, and every nation has different sectors, right? Hey, this sector is finance, this sector is government, right? Hey, and every single government has got the bad guys, freaking that do the black market shit, underneath the freaking table, right? I forget which one. And then hey, there's the religious aspect. Even if we can try to establish that. And now it's like we're so far removed from House of X, Power of X, which was good for me, right? Because I'm arriving on the scene, and I know some of the characters, but I don't know like how they tie into it. So House of X, Power of X was amazing. But now we're so far from that. I'm just like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Not only do I not know what's going on anymore, I do not.
So then going to what we were talking about, then, like, if you see the Shi'ar, what would you think would be a good introduction point for them? If that was what you're looking at.
Yeah, so
before you get to an X-Men kind of.
I still say Guardians of the Galaxy, because you can connect in Star-Lord.
Or even just like mention of them. You know what I mean?
Like,
just so you kind of.
Knowing what I know about the M'Kraan crystal now, they can do it in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Well, in Secret Invasion, right, which we know is going to be a more personal story, right? They said they're not going to do sprawling Secret Invasion because that's what they're going to save for Secret Wars, obviously, right? It makes a lot more sense. You're not going to have, so they're going to make this a smaller personal story. You're going to have it between Nick Fury. You're going to have it between the Skrull. Maybe you'll have the Meet the Skrulls come into play, depending on what rumors you believe and how things pass through, the human centipede that is comic journalism, right? But I mean, I think really what you have is you have a sort of a setup there that works best. Again, with the Shi'ar, with like Skrulls, like you have Skrulls, you have Kree, you have Shi'ar. That's how you do the connection, and that's why Abigail Brand makes sense, even though they're saying the rumors again are that she's playing someone different, Daenerys. I always forget her name, but from Game of Thrones. People were speculating Abigail Brand, right? And now they're going. I'm sorry, Adam. What'd you say?
Amelia Clark, I think her name.
Yeah,
is.
Amelia Clark. I forget. Again, based on who you believe, playing a Skrull character and not Abigail Brand. So again, let's see which way that goes.
Yeah. Peter Parker is saying that he thinks they will do Savage Land, and that does hold some weight because during the Doctor Strange movie, they're jumping through all types of portals, right? One of those portals was Submariner Land, and another one of those was Savage Land. We had dinosaurs and all types of weird shit. So that does hold some weight, right? That they've at least acknowledged that that's a thing. And as many Savage Land books, Khazar books that they try to patch over the last 2 years.
Yeah, we were about seeing those.
Wait, would that be a movie or would that be more of a Disney Plus show?
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Disney Plus. You gotta explain
Disney Plus, man. Unless it's a big one.
Have you seen Frank Cho's Shanna? The She-Hulk? Come on. That's their.
Hold on. I've been waiting to jump in, but I didn't want to cut anybody off. Let me just thank my guy Gary for coming on the Drunken Chat tonight. Love what you're doing, Gary. Keep it up. Thank you for coming on tonight. It's a major thing to have Gary on. Y'all out there watching, if y'all don't know Gary, y'all better goddamn get familiar. But Gary don't pop out too much. So just like the homie who don't hit the club that night,
much less at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Much less at 2 in the morning. And he go out with the boys, and not only do we go out with the boys, but he stay out all night. Just look.
That's me. You turn around.
Very excited to have Gary on.
Here's what's going to happen. Because we usually try and stay late because he decide, goes kind of late, and we got to wait for Mel. But Mel's not going to be around for a while, so we're going to probably start a little bit earlier. So inshallah, God willing, Gary will freaking bless us with his presence every once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. Tony fixes Gary, my old nemesis. We need to get
that's one of the blue-green artifacts. I'll see them up, and there are certain people that you see again and again, and you know that as soon as their books come up, if you're on IG, like I know Ninth Wonder, I know when he's posting stuff up there, I know what it's going to be. You can tell certain people, long, short, it's always going to be Gun Honey with like bikinis. So you have certain people who you follow, you see the same thing, and you start to get to know about them. Tony Fix is someone who knows like deep dives into books, but also knows not to go too deep into books, right? That's the one thing that I always tell people. You can't grab everything. You have to find a specific way to sort of target what you're buying. Because if you try to buy everything, you're going to be broke. You're going to be out of the hobby. And you also have to, not be naive. And number one, buy what you like. Because if you start out buying what other people like, you're already dead in the water if you're trying to make money. So I always say, read the books. I collect the books. You can see if you look behind me, like I said, I'm on IG. I'm on Twitter. I post about different things.
What's crazy is Gary freaking during his show, he'll just pull out books from those freaking boxes and start talking about it. Like,
yeah, right. That's when you know somebody's read the books.
Yeah, and I keep a long box with all, but see, I don't want to be digging through these boxes, so that's why a lot of times I say things that I have don't come into a play. Sometimes 2 years ahead. Like I say, if you want, go back to my MeWe page from 2018, I guess. If you want books that are going to be hitting now. You're looking to make money off it, because if you're buying books as they're popping up on Key Collector, it's too late. Right. You know what? I mean, we just talked about 8 billion genies. If you're chasing that book now, no, you're looking at the next one. So that's a mistake people make too. You can't, if you get caught up in FOMO constantly, and I have a short box of PC books, right? Apart from my like real Bronze Age and Golden Age stuff. And that short box is a box that I will not sell, along with my Uncanny X-Men collection, which is my other, favorite. That's an untouchable. But if you get attached to your books, you're a collector. You're not an investor, right? Mm-hmm. Because you have to be you can't have an emotional attachment to a book just because you look at it and say, you know what? If then become a PC, start a little short PC. But once that PC's full, start, Sophie's Choice, take some of those books out, sell them, get rid of them because other people want them too. Because people have the same taste as you, right? Yeah. And go with what drives you. You look at the best comic site that's free is Fresh Comics. You go on Fresh Comics, they show you all the covers for November, October. I'm looking at those covers. I'm not looking at next week's coverage. Even FOC, right? Like it comes up soon enough. You're looking at those covers way ahead. Who's great at that? I brought up before, James Kreider. He sniped me on a book that I wanted on a great Margaret Brundage variant. She did these great old pulp covers of one of those the Cimarron covers that they were doing from a Blaze. Gorgeous cover. I think it was a 1 to 25, but so few printed that I missed out on that. So I slept on it. So you stay ahead if you want those books. But again, have the books in your collection already. And by the time they come around, I'm not digging for books at a comic shop. I'm digging in my boxes, because you have to know where they're going next. So follow people you trust, put together a small select group, curate who you follow on social media, because if you follow everybody, then you might as well be following nobody, because then you have everything coming together. So,
man, I 100% agree with everything Gary is saying. And a lot of people, like I only have 1,600 followers on IG, but I always say two things about that. I never really ask anybody to follow me. I never really ask people to subscribe to me on YouTube. I just recently started doing that at the behest of other people that, appear on my YouTube channel. Two, I only follow like around 100 people, like actual people on accounts. Like 20 of the accounts I follow is like, business accounts. And the main reason I do that is because I don't want to see what everybody thinks about this book, that book, or just the random stuff that they may post in general. I try to keep everything, kind of trimmed down to just like, hey, I see this dude always posting knowledgeable stuff. I don't want to miss that because I'm following 1,000 people, and the algorithm is just crazy, on my timeline, and I'm missing valuable information. So that's something that I always try to preach, is that information is key, right? And you don't want too much information. You want to trim down. You want to trim that fat and follow the right people.
You want to control it.
I know somebody
Yeah.
asked me why did I remove all of my posts from IG. I had over almost 1,000 posts on IG, and I got some gems in there, right? I got some gems in there, some good spec in there, like, but I trimmed it all the way down because I want to control the amount of information that I'm giving out to people. So if you come to my page, I want to have like set things that's going on at that point in time that you got to pay attention to, because you can't scroll back through thousands of pages. And I feel like that's the number one tool we got in this day and age, is how we control and process information, you know, because it's a lot of good information out there, guys, but it's a lot of bad information out there, especially when it comes to comic books, comic book speculation, and things of that nature.
Yeah, I call it spec noise. When you get too much shit coming in from too many angles, and it clouds your judgment, right? You kind of have to be able to filter that spec noise out and be like, okay, this is spec for the masses, and this is spec that's good spec, you know. But I'm with Ninth on that. I do that same thing. I start getting too much noise out of one location. I cut that shit out real quick.
Yeah.
Because that only leads to bad spec.
Like Gary, like, I don't know. Gary said he's about to turn 50, so we're pretty close in age. And when I was growing up, my aunt owned she owned the gift shop at Highland Hospital in Oakland, California. So she had a spinner rack, so she would have all the comic books to come out. So my older cousin, obviously, he got all the books. So he would have, you know, the big when you go to the grocery store, the big bins where they keep all the watermelons or the melons. They're like a big cardboard like bin. So he would have one of those in the living room, and it was full of comic books, DC and Marvel, obviously. And he would pull books out of there just like Gary does. And each book he pulled out, he would tell me exactly what the book was about, what was going on. And this is before Bags and Boards, you know, but he would just pull out a book and he'd be like, this Spider-Man is this about, you know, he would tell me the whole story. And obviously I was like, you know, 4 or 5, you know what I mean? And so I had just got into, you know, learning how to read. So obviously that's how it sparked my interest in comic books, was because he would tell me all about them. But when I got back into the hobby, I stumbled on Gary's channel, and he was doing the same thing, and it was just like he was rapid fire. And I'm like, I was mesmerized. So I was like, man, this dude is kicking it like my cousin Pat. You know what I mean? I'm like, I feel like I'm in the living room of my aunt's house right now, and he's just giving me the rundown on all the books I missed out on. You know what I mean? So I appreciate Gary, and my wife loves you too. She's a fan, huge fan. So she follows your page, and you know what I mean. And she gets a kick out of saying, yeah, the Comic Perspective liked one of my posts.
That's funny. I appreciate that. And again, what I really try to do is just talk out of like love of the hobby, right? And I make no qualms that if there's money to be made off something, if a book is going to pop, sell that book, because like somebody wants that book more than you want it, and they're willing to pay you this price for it. Yeah. And chances are I'm going to buy something else. Like for those who do follow me, they know I just got, I won't name the company because they apologized, but I ordered a book and they said, oh, we left that book on there too long. You never should have gotten an order. And I'm like, well, why did you wait a week after I contacted you to tell me? And I had to tell you, that's bad business. Tell me the day that's out. Oh, we screwed up. Right. So I didn't get that book, and they refunded me on it. It was a Canadian company, but it's one of those things where when you're looking for a certain book, you can't get caught up in that and like, I got to get that book. And I looked at that and I turned it around and I bought a Size of Mayor sketchbook from SDCC instead. So, you're going to take it and you're going to look at something else, and you're never going to look back. It's sort of like with everything. If you gamble on sports, right? You don't look back at what your last loss. You're like, I'm looking at my next win already. Yeah. So that's how you have to do with comics, right?
Let the hobby pay for itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a philosophy, right? And there are people who watch, and I have people who I know track through, and when I shut all my YouTube things down, because just so you know, a reason I don't come on a lot of late shows too is because I work in education. So I always, I just have to be careful of
You
what.
gotta recover from the little motherfuckers, man.
Yeah,
You know how
great.
it is.
Yeah. Well, that's why I had to change my channel all over. But I had one, when your middle school kid comes over and says, "Oh, I saw your channel last night. What kind of bourbon was that?" I'm like, "Oh boy."
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you
Because I
motherfuckers.
appreciate
That,
quality bourbon.
that's what you tell them. That wasn't me.
No,
Okay.
That was my twin brother.
Okay.
Like, Mr. Nesser, what is it?
There were 500 DMs in my box. Like, why'd you shut your channel down? I'm like, you can blame this kid. I gave the address. No, but anyway.
Oh man.
So this is why I'm staying. This is sort of my last hurrah before I'm. The kids are back again, and we're happy to be back in a situation like that. I bring a lot of my. When I get a comic that gets dinged, I have a box that I bring into classrooms and I put in the lunchroom as well. And first of all, the kids love just having any kind of comic in there, but I try to find a lot of kids comics. So that's a great thing I recommend. If you have the ability to get comics, you get kids comics, put them in schools, get those, graphic novels are very big right now. All these like YA graphic novels. I know a lot of people have been looking at kids books, which really, as you're looking at these prices on some of these things, I know, here, let's see if
I got this at my daughter's book fair.
But they're amazing. I was going to say that's the best resource because one, you get those scholastic prices, right?
And how much is it?
It was like $12, and then I got an X-Men one and another one recently because she had to order a certain amount of books. Not order, but they were like, order the books, we give a discount. So I ordered a bunch of books for her, and then I looked through them. I'm like, I'm getting that one and that one. It was like a Star Wars and something else. I'm like, I'm getting all that shit.
There's a great feeling on that, right? Because when you were a kid, you were going to getting that scholastic book order, circling that off.
Exactly. Or posters.
And nobody else was in that exact time range, right?
All those activity books too.
All of that. Yeah,
exactly.
But these are crazy because they're like books that you would get at the comic shop. Like it's like the Marvel Universe. This is all of the Avengers characters. You know what I mean? It's like the Ultimate Guide. It's like a Marvel Universe book. So it has like everybody they fight, everything. So I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I had to get that.
So in terms of that, if Marvel or DC were really smart, they would hire like the biggest selling Raina Telgemeier, who does all these sort of graphic novels that if you have a kid, you'll know these books. And when they come out, like those are the most stolen graphic novels in libraries and school libraries, right? So when you're looking at that, you're like, well, why aren't you tapping into this, right? So there are some, even when we talk about, like, I know here's a book, right? Like Haunted Mansion. This is something that Disney's developing. This was a book from SLG. Came out, nobody was buying this, and this is the foil edition, right? So there's a regular edition, there's a foil edition. All of a sudden, Disney books, which started with, of course, let's see, you had this Big Thunder Railroad, right? Like, now they're making movies off of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, but people, Disney fans are nuts, and that's the other thing. Cross-pollination. If you want to get rid of books, you're looking at, there's a Disney audience out there that doesn't collect comics that are going to be looking, they're tracking, and like this book, do you think this, like anybody has variant, like, how many copies of that it got into stores and how many copies are thrown in racks of kids' comic books where they don't beg and board them at a lot of stores. They'll throw them in the kids' because they want the kids to read them, right? So these are the books that people are chasing. That Frozen, right? These, like, I was giving these out to kids as they came to my house. My daughter would have friends come over. I'm like, oh, here's a copy of, Frozen. Here's another copy. Here's another copy. I had like 10 of these. Now I wish I got the 7 back again because Figment, right? Yeah. I know nothing about this character, but second print variant. I like the white cover, action figure cover.
Is it a Figment book?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Hit me up, Adam.
We actually talked about that here on Drunken Chat as well.
Haunted Mansion,
I did not know the Haunted Mansion.
Oh wow, third print. That's crazy.
And probably the most undervalued property that I don't understand because this is
movies.
This is
the IP on that for toys and everything else. It's crazy.
I mean, this is such a huge property that is around forever, and you look and they keep making movies over and over again, and now you had like teenagers dressing up and going to these Minions parties, those are the things you look at, right? You look at trends in other media and you say, what's popping? You could have found this book for like $3, but for me, this is one you put away, sort of like when you're looking at those gold key books, right? Those the one that everyone like Scooby-Doo and the Addams Family, and books that were, you know, printed, they were beat up, they were put in back pockets. Those are the kind of things you want to look for long-term investments down the line.
Well, that crossover,
Stop
like you were saying,
buying Powerpuff Girl bullshit.
Fuck the Powerpuff Girls.
Stop that shit. I started seeing the shit and it looks terrible. Stop that shit.
It ain't gonna hit.
SpongeBob is good. Buy SpongeBob.
Told y'all.
But that crossover that you're saying, though, I mean, honestly, dude, we've talked about it on here multiple times. A lot of us share that same perspective. Like if you got kids, pay attention to what your kids are into, because that's the good spec. But I mean, we did a Tool variant and we've done a Metallica variant, and those books sold great to our customers. But the second I dropped the Metallica variant on the Metallica official fan page, we damn near sold out. The second I dropped the Tool cover
James,
on the Tool fan page, we damn near sold out. Like that crossover appeal, we got people buying comics that don't buy comics; they buy albums. You know,
James, you know,
Excuse me, James, you did a Metallica variant?
Yeah, we did a Metallica variant with Maria Key.
On what book?
That's Rock and Roll Biographies.
Hey James, you know there's not a Paw Patrol comic out there yet. Just saying.
Not yet.
You might want to fucking do.
He said not
yet. Not yet.
Just ideas.
I'll do a variant with Chase Chase done by Delato. It'd be great.
Hey Gary. So Moon Knight came out this week. What did you think of them replacing No Shoe with this new guy, Shamsu?
Again, I have faith in very few writers over at Marvel now, but Jed MacKay is someone I do have faith in, and I know that, you know, this is different than Jason Aaron now having to retcon his own story of Thor's mom being Phoenix instead of being, you know, Mother Earth. This is Jed MacKay planning something out from the beginning. You know, he from Hunter's Moon to what's going on straight through with his, you know, his vampire assistant. He's been laying something out, right? And unfortunately, like I think even the same thing with Black Cat, he was writing Black Cat. Unfortunately, they canceled it out from under him, but now he keeps putting out like miniseries, right? Like Iron Cat. That's the next miniseries. He has another one planned already. Those are the kind of things that I think you go back and look at. And I said, writers love their own characters. I used to, you know, Jim Zub, if he tries to get Champions going up one more time, so now they gave him Thunderbolts. We'll see where that goes. There are certain people that spec just doesn't stick to. Like Jim Zub, if you see his name, I don't buy it because his spec doesn't like it. He doesn't have that sort of traction at Marvel. Jason Aaron, Donny Cates used to be those guys, but I think fans feel burnt. I think that Avengers run killed the enthusiasm of everybody. I think the Punisher stuff is frankly a travesty in terms of what they did to his backstory as a kid and made him a psycho kid before, like, right. So they're saying us he was severely damaged. So I don't know where they're going in terms of, you know, the last time I liked Punisher, Matt Rosenberg was doing it, you know, that run. I was hoping they'd go Lady Punisher more, right, and try to at least take Frank Castle off the books for a while. And just because I have a lot of lady
it's time for Frank to hand off the reins to somebody, just like a Kate Bishop type deal. Hand it off to somebody else. Like Frank, got it. You're traumatized. You've earned some fucking rest. Go off into the sunset, man. Just freaking go sit your ass down in a fucking retirement house.
Well, you saw the old logo back, right? Like Ares is wearing the logo.
But I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Punisher's got a new logo. You know,
it's the worst character ever, right?
Like right now, it feels like the whole point of this freaking comic was so they could change the logo to fuck off. They would say "fuck you" to racist cops, and that was it. Because the story is like, oh, now the Punisher is going against Ares. I don't give a fuck. Shut it down. Shut it down. Pass it off to somebody else. You know, this is a travesty. Too many damn Marvel.
If they have to bring back his wife, like seriously.
Yeah, they did the whole Ra's al Ghul where there's some special lake of water that brings people back to fucking life, and you gotta dip them in.
Bullshit.
Yeah, you gotta dip them in long enough for it to
Poppycock.
fucking actually work, man. It's weird. It's like, say, oh man, there's a reunification of his son and his wife, and I'm like, man, I must be a psycho because I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I want to see the Punisher killing the mafia and shit.
And that's what
Mike
that's
Zeck
what,
throwing him.
yeah, that's what gets me right now with all the shit that's going down in places like Chicago and the inner cities right now, with all the shit that's going on with fentanyl right now, with a whole fucking war going on overseas and shit in Europe right now. That's what you got fucking the Punisher doing right now, off in the woods playing Batman and with Ra's al Ghul and some shit.
Yeah.
That's the best you got right now.
I think he's a character that doesn't work anymore, right? Because if he really tried to take out any major villains, he would be wiped off the map. So you have to find ways to keep him interesting, and you can't do that in today's sort of. It doesn't work. You can't. He's a character that doesn't work. Take him off the table. I know they tried to. I don't know why they brought him back. So in fact, they brought him back too soon, probably. But I think they're probably looking to put John Bernthal back on the table in terms of MCU work, right? And putting the Punisher back up, putting a book out, Marvel trying for once to get some synergy going, blowing it, right? Again, that's what they do best. They can't capitalize on, we won't get into the whole tie over and what works and what doesn't work in terms of that, but I would say that the crossover between movie and television has hurt Marvel spec more than anything, because where you're getting characters now throwaways, right? Like you get the Wrecking Crew. They made a joke, which, they're kind of a joke, too. But if how the Wrecking Crew first had, they met She-Hulk on Secret Wars, right? And they did a job on her, and that then caused, that animosity between them that they then played around with in the later runs. So it's MCU throwing Easter eggs out, characters that you might have thought might have some development down the line. Like who's next? Are we going to see,
they made them look like jabronis, man.
Yeah. Say again, Adam?
That the She-Hulk TV show made the Wrecking Crew look like a bunch of fucking jabronis.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you think about it, it's how do you translate, those characters over? Because they are they're an era, they're of a time, right? Like they dress in those really brightly colored suits, so they're trying to make them more of our time, right? And it doesn't work with some characters. Like don't use that character if it's not going to work in that role. Yeah. Use a better fit. I don't know.
Yeah. And the last time the Punisher was relevant was Garth Ennis.
Yeah, Barracuda. That's the Punisher run I want to see back again, and that's the run they were going to do a return for Barracuda. If you remember from the Garth Ennis and Goran Parlov, I think.
Is that the one that got shit canned during COVID?
Yeah.
He did Garth Ennis did the Punisher Soviet too, all right?
Yeah, he came back and did that, and that's a book that those, again, 4 and 5 of the variants on that one, tough to find.
I know that was all during COVID, so nobody.
Yeah. Here's the Punisher storyline that I want to see in the MCU. Listen to me real quick. All right, picture in your mind the cops. They're loving that freaking old Punisher logo, right? They're all over that shit. It's like all over their bumpers and shit, right? And then you go back to that storyline where Punisher was black for a day or some shit. Punisher's just rolling through the hood.
Everything out the window.
Fucking Punisher and pull him out the fucking car and beat his ass.
Beat him senseless, and he must have taken out on the ramparts.
That's the Punisher storyline I would have seen.
I think John Ridley will write that. John, that sounds like he'll be up to get him over to Marvel. Right? Is he doing that the Black Panther series right now? Yeah, blaxploitation take on Punisher. You know what?
That's
everything else. Franken Punisher, Angel Demon Punisher, Lady Punisher, Kid Punisher is next.
Ain't that kind of what Barracuda is? It's kind of like
we saw Kid Punisher, right, with Jeff Lemire when he did the Skull, right? That was his take on basically Vigilante with a kid sidekick on there. So Skull Digger, right? And Skeleton.
Just wait until we see the Punisher month of variant covers coming up now.
No. That's the last thing we need.
No, please.
I wish they would have rode the hype of the Netflix series a little harder and maybe done a better offshoot series off of that. Because like personally, right, as a vet who diagnosed suffers from PTSD, that show was a very good, not the psychotic rampage side of it, but like his internal battles were really good. Like it was probably the best portrayal of PTSD that has been shown. You know, somebody who struggled with survivor's guilt and everything else that he went through. And so I know a lot of veterans really fell in love with that series for what it was. It would have been nice to see some of that translate into the comics. I think the closest thing that we had was the Max series, years and years ago, that was anything that was relatable. It would have been nice to see them kind of ride that wave, and they, unfortunately they missed that boat. It's way beyond that. That boat's gone, sailed, and down the river, and it's way beyond. But that would have been a cool Punisher, and now it is what it is, which is a fucking hot ass mess. So
yeah, they lost me.
Yeah,
when they changed his logo, I was like,
yeah. Well, that series got me back into Punisher because I grew up reading the Max series stuff. Like that was my stuff, and it got me back into Punisher, and then the last couple of years I've just been like, what this isn't even worth reading anymore.
Well, it all started to slowly change when they started doing the Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Right.
It
was obviously they didn't. It was obviously they didn't know what to do.
Is that the one where they made him an angel and shit back in the late 90s?
Cosmic Ghost Rider. That was just like what 2 or 3 years ago.
That was recently, yeah.
Punisher series where they made him a fucking angel and shit back in like 98.
He was Thanos's freaking right hand man.
Oh yeah, that too.
And then so everything that Thanos is right now is a result of Cosmic Ghost Rider, because Cosmic Ghost Rider raised Thanos for a while. Exactly. See how solid it is? Because that's how stupid that freaking thing is.
Yeah, that shit was dumb.
Like,
what?
Everybody's like, what? Yeah. As bad as Thanos is right now, is because Cosmic Ghost Rider raised him for a while, and then put him back. And then
so I'm gonna date myself. And when I was reading Cosmic Ghost Rider, it reminded me of, remember that movie Raising Arizona?
Oh yeah.
Remember the guy with the shotgun who took the baby? Yeah. That's what I kept thinking the whole time. I was like, wait a minute.
Right?
Yeah. I'm like, is this Raising Arizona right now? Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, okay.
That's
right.
funny,
I got it.
But again, we created Cosmic Ghost Rider, right? Like that was one of those, that 1 to 25, that was a book that was, really highly sought after for a while. And it was, everybody always thought it was Deadpool, right? And then he switched it up at the last minute, made it Punisher. And that's why I'm still salty at Cates, because I told him it was going to be Punisher, and he said there was going to be a no prize, and I never got that from Donny Cates. So that's why I do not read his books anymore. He's just like Thor. Anyone reading Thor anymore? The Hulk, the Hulk run. I'm sorry, I can't do it. It's like he's turning me off Marvel books, which is tough to do because I've been reading it, forever. So if I'm reading my DC
there's a Hulk book, really?
I was saying back when crossover flopped, I was saying it's over for Donny Cates right there. When that flopped, I was like, bro, man, it's over.
He's almost like the type. He's coming across like he's doing it intentionally.
Well, he is. Well,
it's because they won't give him Spider-Man.
Humans was like, come on, like what a book that just sort of sat there for what purpose? His Guardians of the Galaxy run again just went 12 issues, got people on it. They were like, oh, what's going on here? Then he's off that book. Then he's on Thor. Then he's on Hulk. You go back to, his Thanos run was great, but it followed up on another great run. Jeff Lemire set the table there with most of that, with what went on in terms of things we're seeing explored again now with the God Quarry and things like that coming back into play. So it's looking at who are those writers that are building off. And Donny Cates is, like I always say, emperor with no clothes, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like he's the king of the gimmick. He got that Cosmic Ghost Rider, blew his head up. And now he loves that sort of twisting around, playing with speculators. You remember Wrath from Annihilation when he was supposed to,
Yeah.
What role was that to play except for just sort of take him off the board, right? Like that's what
Immediately.
he did in the series. Like he killed that spec. Probably because he expected he's like, oh, I'll get that character that's sitting around, and boom, not that Donny Cates cares, but
So I want to run something through on the Thor God of Thunder, right? So in the comics and in Valkyrie, they established that the guy who kills Gore, not Gore. What's the name of the freaking symbiote god? No. Was Thor's great grandfather or some shit like that. Right? Because he eventually they talk about him in Valkyrie. He was the one that killed him. They entombed his body in another fucking cave and they locked him away before bringing him back. And shit. In the movie, he's some other fucking dude. He's like some other fucking sun god or some shit. So that means they're like, oh, here's what Donny Cates said. Yeah, fuck that shit. We're not doing that shit right now. Let's do some other shit. That's how Marvel thinks about Donny Cates shit. It's like, oh, no. Oh, that's what. Yeah, fuck no. We're not doing no right now because fuck no. So there's some definite animosity to what Donny Cates has done right now.
Because it seems like he's taking some good books just to fuck with people. Like it's not even necessary to do it when he does it. Like that whole the way he ended the King in Black, that was so anticlimactic.
Everybody was all over trying to guess who was the.
There was so many tie-ins
and shit.
Everything, and that book just like fell on its face.
Well, tell me you didn't see that coming
all over again. You know what I mean?
Like in your speculator mind, tell me you didn't see that coming though.
I did, but I didn't buy any of the books. I didn't buy any of the books. But I'm gonna be honest. When I got back into the hobby, Silver Surfer Black just came out, and I thought that was good. I thought five issues or whatever, start to finish, it was good. It was a good story. Kind of set the platter for some other Silver Surfer books. They never did anything with it, but I thought it was a good story. The art, I appreciated the art, everything. But
they recently dropped the Silver Surfer Black Rebirth.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, they're still like, I guess
they're trying to
build off of that character.
But then, like when he did that, it was like he went into after he did Silver Surfer Black, he did what was it?
That Guardians of the Galaxy run, right? Right after, because
but there was something else that was big at the time. I forget what he parlayed it into.
Doctor Strange came right before.
Yeah, right. It was that time period, and then it just, I don't know, man. It was just like it was that time when they swapped him and Jason Aaron. Like it was Thor. He took over Thor.
Right.
Yeah. And that Thor was just like, the first two issues were, the Black Winter, and once he went down that Black Winter, that whole, I was just like, dude, this isn't gonna end well.
Well, don't have big comic nerds take over books, because when you go back and you look at what Kirby did and say, you know what, I saw what Kirby did back with Galactus, and he took that and he felt that he had to explain that. Everyone knows the rule of inverse interest, right? Like Wolverine got, the more they told us and the more we wanted, we got, right? It's inverse proportion. The more you find out about mysterious characters, the more it kills the mystique. It doesn't mean it's not a great character. Marvel, they killed him off for a while. If they kill off Wolverine, nobody is safe. Doctor Strange will be back again in another form. I think that was a way just to bring Clea onto the table, so they would have her for more involved in the story. But he's going to be Sorcerer Supreme again when they revitalize him. So it's cyclical. Everybody knows that. Like nobody stays dead except for Ben, Uncle Ben.
Everything's cyclical, just like the Thunderbolts.
Right? And okay. So that's a great one, right? So here, I think somewhere here. when you look at the Thunderbolts, everybody's looking at this, right? Everybody's looking at issue 1. Right, we know they showed up in the Hulk first, but this is, I like this book, and I always really like, and I think these are undervalued. The annual, which is the origin of all the Thunderbolts, the 97 annual. But they're going to take a little bit of that. They're going to take a little bit of that Thunderbolts, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take a little bit. No, they're not going to take that Thunderbolts. If you remember that one, John Arcudi run on this. But I'm also looking at Thunderbolts. They had a lot of interesting covers in that run. Like even like people looking at Stature, another Addy Granov Stature.
There you go. Is that Yelena
right
on the front?
I hated this. Right, the border on there killed so many great Granov covers throughout this run. I'm looking at something like that. I'm looking at you're starting to look at like Ant-Man. I have to tell you, if you're not reading the Ant-Man mini from Al Ewing is another guy that I think is amazing. But I think he operates over a lot of people's heads. Not with his he struck a chord with Immortal Hulk, but when you're looking at what he's doing with the Defenders right now, I know, unlike you have to know Marvel, you have to know the whole sort of backstory. But Ant-Man, super approachable, making the character interesting. Next, he's doing a Wasp series, and then he's doing both together. So he's going to have an Ant-Man and Wasp. Corporate synergy. That's Marvel working smart. Give it to Al Ewing. Like he's actually really approachable take. So you're looking at Ant-Man books. Who else? You're looking at Spider-Woman, right? You're looking at that. Every cover on that Frank Cho run, right? Is that the right way? With Silk, right? Through the Spider-Verse. I don't believe in costume spec, right? New costumes never. Who cares? But baby bump spec.
Yeah,
right?
there you go. Yeah.
Testify.
The whole Frank Cho run on New Avengers, right? I'm looking at all those great. I love, like, one of my favorite covers, right? The upside down New Avengers cover. 15. Even to me, probably the best artist, sequential artist in the game ever, Stuart Immonen. This cover, right, with Spider. And if you don't know Stuart Immonen, again, an artist whose name you should know. He's doing incredible work. He's retired from mostly mainstream work. Spider-Woman origin, right? You maybe they go this route, and so you always want the first and the last issue of a limited series. If you can't find the whole thing, go one.
Gary, so the next step up is Madam Web, right?
Huh.
What do you think of that? Any spec on that?
So
other than we get all spec on the first appearance and all that.
So here's an interesting book. So this is Spider-Woman, and if you look on the cover, it has a bunch of different Spider-Women on there, right? And then you open this book up, and we didn't set this up, right? You just happen to, one, I love these books because they have that ultra rare, these cards in there still, right? They look great.
I did not know that. Okay.
And again, these are all my these are books. And again, because I've always been sort of OCD about it. Like, this is a book I bought off the rack back when it came out, put it in a bag and a board, and I haven't changed either since, and it's fine, right? So keep your books stored in a temperate place, and they stay great. You don't have to replace bags and boards every year. That's a scam. But anyway, you look on this, you see all these Spider-Woman in there, right? And then on the first page, you have Madam Web talking to all these spider characters and say there can be only one Spider-Woman. So you've seen crazier things than Sony saying, we're going to take a really off-the-wall storyline and we're going to just use that, or we're going to use a character that appeared in one panel in Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man and make him the whole, driving force of a franchise killing movie. So you have to look at Sony makes no sense in their choices. So I try to play off that and think about, everyone. I don't have the What If one.
Love that one. Love that one.
Reprint, right? This is a zero.
It's Spider Girl number 0.
Yeah.
The What If. Is that a What If?
No.
Who is she?
So the What If is her first appearance. This is a 0. This is a reprint of that. I don't have that What If of when that came out. You can't find those. You'll never find those in boxes, but you will still find I'm looking at those alternative spider characters. I'm not going to talk about Spider-Verse 6 now, which I think was one of those things that circulated through certain.
Hold on, let me bring Remo in. What is that, Remo?
Oh yeah, that's great.
Season of the Serpent Spider Girl. You're muted. You're muted, Remo.
I got it off of Whatnot for like like $3, man. It's probably not worth anything, but I like the cover.
I don't know, man. I like Christmas covers for some fucking reason.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I grabbed it. Little beanie and a big strap. So,
got a question from Hive Comics says Battle World has a chance for comics. K405 is asking any opinions on Battle World Ultimate End.
Battle World Ultimate. Wait, where are we?
Where did it go? Here we go.
So again, this comes down to how are they going to approach Secret Wars? And before I get deeper into that, just one more. That's the other book you want, right? Like this is the Amazing Spider-Man, the 5. Again, books that were sitting forever in dollar bins, and again, just sitting in my dollar bin and not touched, left there because I read it probably once and then put it away. I'm going to get into that in one more sec. And the other book I've spoken about before, just this variant cover, First Order of the Web, and you have Silk, you have Spider-Gwen, you have Miles, you have I think Spider-Girl, the Urania version, Spider-Woman. So looking at books like that that are on a downturn before you see which way they might go. So Battle World Ultimate End, if Marvel goes the Secret Wars route of creating different worlds, then I think everything's on the table. I think there are so many variants for so many different Secret Wars books that came out of that run that there are going to be some books that people are going to settle on because there's just too much diversification. When you have that in any kind of thing, people get nervous, especially people with a lot of copies of certain books get nervous. So watch the books people start gravitating towards and start looking around other sites. Here, Gmart, a spot that I go to all the time. I don't care. Go to Gmart, check it out. If you don't know Gmart at this time, get out of the game. But you do a Google search, it'll come up with one of your top points. And by the way, you lose your password on there anyway. You can never get in that site, so it's impossible. But it's important that you're not rushing to eBay as soon as you hear someone talk about it. With these Secret Wars books, if they decide all of a sudden, oh, we have all these great characters on the board now, we're just going to pluck and pick these heroes, these villains. We're going to put them on one planet. And they're going to be on different sides. It's almost going to be like Contest of the Champions meets Secret Wars, right? So they're showing that they're going to go anyway. If you go the other way, I start looking at like those Marvel premiere books, 38, which has the first Weird World, which I always think huge book, right? If they go, Weird World is connected to, don't forget, Crystar, right? Crystar is one of those properties, really interesting, like Micronauts we keep hearing about.
Yes.
I look back at those weird, and don't forget, Crystar pops into Strange Academy because one of the characters is like Prince or something who attends. So what are these connections? Where is Marvel pulling from? Right? I was on the, jumping back to Strange Academy for a bit. I was on a real kick. I thought that Laveau was going to actually end up being the original Marie Laveau because her whole power was that she would drain you and she would remain young forever. So I thought that would be her big secret. So I was looking back at those Tomb of Dracula books that she was in, which are still books to get. Not the Tomb of Dracula, but one of the magazine-sized Dracula books. I'm forgetting. I have them, but I just those I don't have.
Previews, maybe.
No, in the old 70s Dracula books where Marie Laveau, she's a very famous character in the history of New Orleans, but the first Marvel comic-ized version of her.
You're not talking about Tomb of Dracula, are you?
No, not the Tomb of Dracula books. Yeah, those.
Oh, by the way, let me go ahead and take my spot. Yeah. Eric, remember how I've been saying movies are cyclical?
Yes.
Jared,
always.
Dracula, vampires. Is making his way back a huge way. That Invitation
100%.
movie, you know what I'm talking about? That Invitation movie?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, there's a movie out there in theaters right now. It's called The Invitation. Teenage girls are getting on all over this shit. Their parents love them fucking see that shit. It is basically a remake of Brides of freaking Dracula. And it is great. What's that you got, Rick and Nice? Strange Academy. Oh, yeah, old girl, Zoe.
Yeah, the character Gary was just talking about. I keep telling people about this book, man. It's Unlucky 13. It's the rare variant out of issue 13. I think this
Now,
is the one I see the
is that
list of.
incentive or is that a retailer?
No, it was open order, but it was open order. I can't remember.
Was
You
that
know
the
what?
Art Adams magic
Yeah, it
cover?
was open order, but it was like a B cover, right?
No, it's like a C
C,
or a
C,
D
yeah.
cover, something crazy like that. And it's normally
Mighty
not like that with Strange Academy books. Hold on, I forgot why this one was. Oh, because okay, so the Art Adams was the cover B, and that was that magic cover that
Yeah.
everybody was going crazy for. So, like my working theory, obviously, I don't have exact numbers to say how many of this book was ordered. Is that everybody went with the Art Adams or the cover A, and that left this one to become lower order. Plus, this was like a last minute FOC ad too, so I don't think as many shops ordered this one.
Yeah.
So
That's a beaut. And Tony came in and said Dracula Lives. That's the magazine size book I was thinking of for Marie Laveau. Just jumping back really to spider books really quickly, and I think probably one of the big books on there that's been hanging around at Raws for still acquirable price for a while.
Yeah, creepy ass fucking cover.
30, and the reason for that is Moreland, right? Who,
Oh, yeah.
like it or not, that's something that like is going to be part of like the Spider-Verse. We're about to see Dan Slott do whatever, like he says he's ending the Spider-Verse. Yeah, so they're gonna these characters are not being buried, but so this is that whole beginning of that run, and then you had this one in between, which was a really weird school shooting story. This book just sits out there, but this is again the second Moreland, and then behind that you had the one that really explored the whole relationship between Spider-Man and this whole animal totem thing, which we've seen come into play in Reptile, right? We've seen come into play in White Tiger, but just like those stones that you talk about, Lucas. The spider totem. I think the J. Michael Straczynski run was a really great run. It was dividing a lot of people. Some people did not like the spider totem thing. It's like you mentioned in certain Twitter groups, and you're like blocked for life, which is probably a good thing. But this is another book that I look for that really talks about again when you're going through here. If you know the character,
First J. Scott Campbell too, right?
yeah, all these are JSC, but this whole, and you find out that Ezekiel said, I got my powers a different way, right? And he's actually having the spiders come to him and attack him. But we find that all of Spidey's sort of villains, right, over the years, animal connections, totem connections. So that's one of those things that they're going to be looking at. They're exploring again. And Orland, of course, you want for that issue 30.
So my goodness, you just dropped a whole bunch of stuff. So let's take a pause and so. You talked about the totems, right? That was the thing. There was actually a Craven story, maybe about a couple years back, where he hunts down all these people that are using these totems, and he's thinking, "Oh, you want to act like that? Guess what? Well, I want to put you on this freaking island and chain you up. You got to freaking act like that, right?" So that's a whole big, Craven's supposed to be on his way apparently. And then in the recent Amazing Spider-Man stories, or it's the Savage Spider-Man, it's the Amazing Spider-Man stories. They reintroduced the Wasp as a totem, and they introduced where the whole totems for spiders come from, and where the totems for Wasp come from, and they're insinuating that whole Wasp versus Spider thing is going to be a whole big thing going forward. We talked about Morlins. We've been talking about the Morlins for a while. Now, the reason why that's interesting is because there's a relationship of not, hey, I'm a spider, you're a spider. No, there's a whole spider family thing of, hey, there's the spider spinner, right? Who might be Madam Web, and then there's the bride, who is another one, and then there's Anansi, who's another spider freaking thing or something like that. So there's a whole relationship, and then the job of the Morlins is to keep it tight. They have their nostrils. Actual responsibility not just to eat, but to keep all these freaking tight, so that there's not all these different spiders out there that might decide to fuck up the whole spider web. So as we're doing this whole Edge of Spider-Verse thing, and they're introducing new characters, I would love nothing to see the Morlins just cause chaos and rampage and kill all these little motherfuckers off. I would love that. Hey, if you're gonna freaking go ahead, let's see how they fare against these fucking vampires. I don't want to see all these motherfuckers live after that. Kill some of these guys off, or something like that. Ghost Rider Spider, okay. What else? What else you got? I mean, sorry to interrupt you, but with all that,
So Lucas,
go ahead.
one of the things about that, when you're talking about sort of all these spiders, right? And this has been my big. I've been warning people off that Spider-Verse 6 book for a while. And the reason I warn people off that book is not for being bitter about a book. I warn people off a book because you look at trends, and we just saw Amazing Fantasy 15 come out where Screen Rant writes a thing about Fantastic Four, Peter Parker, first appearance, right? Like, so we have these sites immediately, they're on these. So we have all these characters pop up across Amazing Fantasy 15. If you haven't read it, it's also a great just love letter to Spider-Man. So I highly recommend. In fact, there's a Neil Gaiman story in there. So if you're a reader of books, read it up. And there's a great Torrin Clark cover for it that I showed on my IG page. I love the one of him just swinging, trying to catch the train. To me, that's a classic cover. That's a beautiful book just to own in your PC. But all these spider characters showed up there, right? So people are chasing these spider characters that appeared in issue 6, some for a panel, some for 2 panels. Some had previously appeared as these spider personas, or whatever they call these things, that they had fans create in the backs of books. And now they had these characters brought into the series. And now this book was going crazy. I think 275 raw. Am I wrong on that? That it was going for that?
It peaked at, yeah.
That's about right.
And
such a bad.
You know what? I bring up a character that I really liked. That when we saw Edge of Spider-Verse, when we saw the first Into the Spider-Verse movie, you guys remember who were the characters that people were specking on at that time?
Gwen and Miles.
Obvious. Okay, who else? Well, who are the other characters in there?
Miles,
Noir.
Spider Noir.
Yep.
Keep going.
Spider-Ham.
Penny Parker. Remember her for a while? Yeah.
And Spider.
Spider in the spider suit, and that was a hot book. People were saying what, and she had like a couple panels in the thing. It was cute. It was for the kids, but they totally destroyed a character in 2 panels, and they destroyed the spec value. Right? It's sort of like Marvel did. Like if you've been reading Marvel, if you read the last Hawkeye mini, the hood is no more, right? Like in the Marvel comic, there's no hood right now.
Spoiler alert.
Because spoiler alert, 2 months back, but the demon hood sucked him in. That was like a whole ploy, to suck him in, and that's where Clint Barton sort of went rogue, right? He's sort of like this darker thing. And Matt Rosenberg, for me, another great Marvel writer who knows how to write these characters, these sort of darker edged characters. He does great DC work too. If you read his the James Tynion the vampires one, or is that Taylor? One does zombies. I think he does the zombies one, but check those out anyway. But anyway, it's again those same writers who keep bringing those characters up. When you see Dan Slott saying he's killing all the spider characters off, he created a lot of those characters. So yeah, I have no doubt that he's going to kill off his own characters. So look back to who are his guys. Who are the guys that are going to be popping up again? There are too many spider characters to spend $275 for a panel in a book that, because of COVID, had a low print run. I'm sorry. And once someone who is knowledgeable perpetuates that out in the ether, it becomes reality, and people have to start speaking against that. I always tell certain people, when you're ready to do like a Consumer Reports type show, call me for it, because I'll do that every week and blow things up. Because certain people want there to be a cachet around certain characters. And if you know that character is going to show up for like a small incremental portion of one TV show or one movie, why are you spending that kind of money? And why are you taking that kind of money from people? I know people are going to take what they can get. If I'm selling a Golden Age horror book, I'm going to take the highest rate. I'm going to put that up as an auction, right? But I'm not going to do that for a hot book. What I'll do for a hot book is watch what's matched on there, and I'll be like, here's 24 hours, 99 cents. I'll throw that book out at. So if it sells for $3, it sells for $3. But I like to see the market drive and see where it goes on that book, and then to see where it's a week later, because those books that are paper, tomorrow's fish wrap, right? That's what they always say, and that's true of a lot. if you keep creating a new character in every book every week, guess what? 90% of them are never going to be anything. So invest in those keys. Look back at those Bronze Age stuff that you can afford. Look at those minors. Buy cheaper, low grade versions of those keys that you could never buy at a look at a 6.0 on a certain book. And I also, I'm starting to get off slabs anyway and keeping everything just like raw. And so that's another thing that I won't get into now about the whole slabbing industry. And
you can always slab later.
Yeah,
you can't unslab a book, but you can always slab one later.
That's it. That's exactly right. I've unslabbed quite a few books that I wanted to free out. Now it's just if it's a cover that I want for the cover, I'll slab it. If it's a key of a first appearance, it's tough. If you have a Hulk 181, yeah, of course you want to do that.
Well, let me ask you this: if you agree with this assessment, but I think this is important for collectors. Like you're not going to read every book. You're never going to be able to read every book. But if you're a solid speculator, if you deem it as being potentially a key, if you think, oh, it's got a bunch of first appearances, this could be a key book, crack that damn thing open and read it. Crack a copy open and read it. And I know it's sacrilege to some people, but like read that book. Because you realize that a lot of books that people spec heavy on, that they're like, oh, this is a key because it's a first appearance. And you open it up and you're like, it's a panel. It's 2 panels. And that may have held up. We might hold some 70s books and 60s books up to like 2 panels as being a key. But for modern books, that doesn't make it a key anymore. And you might open a book and realize really quickly that book that everyone's paying $50 for on eBay is fluff.
What makes a key a fucking key? Just because it's the first appearance? I don't give a fuck.
No, I don't necessarily think though. I think it has to be a first appearance with substance. I think it has to be a character that has substance. And now you might get a first appearance that's got a little bit of substance now that later matures, right? And then maybe that
so something that becomes a blue chip.
Yeah, it might down the road. Yeah, I think that's what you look at. But I think a lot of that mis-speculation and could be subverted if people open these books up, even though they're like, well, I don't want to crack one open because I think it could be worth a lot of money. Well, crack it open to make sure you're not making a mistake.
Right.
You might very quickly realize that like that 50 people are paying on eBay is a really good price for what you just bought 10 copies of, and you might as well dump it because there's no volume there. There's no actual spec there.
What is this? Tony Fix is saying that Kamala's elbow appearance still pulls a premium. Is that a thing?
What?
I don't know. Maybe Tony Fix is just fucking around.
Oh, well, isn't that talking about Captain Marvel, 14 or 17 or whatever it is, where just her arm appears?
He's like,
he'll get a
motherfuckers is wild. Man. and we wonder why we can't freaking get collectibles assurance or shit.
Yeah. No kidding. Well, let's talk about a character like a character that sort of fits a new character that has some justifiable buzz, and I think should have more just because of the connection and because this character is a very popular one who needs a supporting cast around him, and that's Starling, right? Like Starling is a character that I think is really interesting. I think it's a successful recreation of a classic Spidey villain, right? You take Denise, you give her, actually, they've tried to redo the Vulture so many times, and it's been weak. Like there have been like many Vultures. This is a version that actually works. It's part partner, part love interest for Miles Morales.
Yes.
And now you have Marvel, who knows, who has someone in every, like they're in the chat right now. You have someone saying, well, of course, let's put her on the last page 5, right over Miles Morales going, I'm Starling. Okay, now you're getting a full 1-page panel appearance in 5, right? Her saying, I am Starling. But that's not a first appearance, and now I got to wait for the next issue to be that first appearance. And then the next time you're hearing someone say, "Oh no, that's definitely a first appearance," but that's a cameo. It varies from book to book, and that's the problem. And for a whole with an industry where there's no regulation of what a true cameo is versus a first appearance. Just like I always used to get into an argument with Long Short back in the day when we used to do shows together about a second print is not a first appearance. I'm sorry. I'll say it till I buried it in my comic box. But when you have a book come out a week later, a day later, no, that's not a first appearance. The first appearance is a first print of that book character. The second is a rare a rare book. But now it's not even rare anymore because second prints are coming out when you still have first print sitting on the shelf. But don't get me into print run. Don't get me into first print versus second print. But I'll tell you, I have 5 and 6, and that's what you have to do. If you're not a collector and I wasn't buying Miles Morales and I wanted Starling's first appearance, now I'm buying 2 for 1. And that's the Marvel, way. And that's the DC way. And that's more and more, being adopted. Now we're seeing, that's why I find myself reading a lot more independent books. I'm enjoying them more. And the Marvel stuff. Yeah. Oh, if you look at my independent stuff, it's like I have, like I said, I could literally start throwing some crazy stuff out that I have over here. Yeah. But let's see.
Dusty Brick Brown says the word key.
I don't even want to go into it now because I know we'll lose half of them, James. But I'll talk to you offline about it.
Right. Well, yeah. So Dusty Brick Brown says the word key in the comic book realm is hella subjective nowadays. There are books currently considered a key because they fall in the middle of a major story arc.
No.
I think the term gets passed around too lightly, but I don't know.
Is there an app that would be a way that we could figure out what a key is?
I'm not sure.
Maybe
that'd be a great thing to have. Where eventually, like I said, and again, I'm going to put a disclaimer out as I do on everything. I speak for myself. I love Nick. Nick is great. I've talked to Nick on and offline for years, and I can tell you, I have emails of us talking about Black Winter when it came out, and us actually picking that panel out at the same time of being like, okay, this is going to be a retcon of that Jack Kirby thing. So I love him, but just like there's too much white noise out there with too many people saying the same thing, we've hit a point where a key alert is smart people are putting up their books and everybody else is buying their books.
Nobody's buying DC keys right now.
There's no mystique in it.
So that's what you should be buying.
I'm buying them.
Yeah, don't speak for others. I'm buying all the DC.
I'm buying them.
I wish I could wheel this rack over of the JSA stuff.
You're gonna have to come back next week and we'll just talk about DC.
We should do a DC because I'll tell you, if DC was smart, DC doesn't go into that Justice League route. If you go the JSA route in terms of what they did, and not the Stargirl stuff that's going on, which is a different, like WB TV should be a different level than your movie brand, but they have so much potential within there. But now we're worrying, right? Black Marvel's pushed back. Flash is doing 5 to 10. You have all this stuff going on. Green Lantern. Did we get any HBO Max update on Green Lantern at all?
No.
That's what I was worried about. I was like, man, I hope they don't cancel that show out, man.
I don't care. I don't care about Green Lantern.
But just not for nothing. But has anyone read Green Lantern like within the last
time
decade?
I have, and it's been
like
so.
Grant Morrison, Liam Sharp run.
I don't know, but whatever came out in the last 2 months, it's been interesting because I forget the name of the character.
John Stewart.
Yeah, he's like a god now.
Yeah,
which is weird. It's like,
well, he's living in. That's part of the Dark Crisis stuff too. So Dark Crisis is affecting. They're all living on different planets. But
look, that is what they should be doing with these legacy characters. Like you start out on the streets, then you go national, then you go global, and then you elevate to God, and then you just kind of drift off into the fucking sunset. That's it. Instead of fucking killing Superman off like 3 or 4 times the last 30 years.
So we're gonna lose it. We're gonna do DC next week, and then we'll have 8 people tune in. But I'll but you know,
honestly, no, I do think it's a lot of money in DC books. I do think it's a lot of money in DC books, and it might take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years for that money to manifest, but there's some good stuff out there in DC. I was just going through some DC books today, man. Like, especially like the current DC stuff, like the art on it, and you combine that with some of the first appearances in there, like especially like the Clown Hunter stuff, the Punchline stuff. Yeah, man, a lot of that stuff would be minimum, $500, $600, $700 slabs if it was Marvel
Look,
books.
but I'm looking into
Zatanna. First appearance is Zatanna sees year after year steady growth.
There you go. Let's look at Dark DC versus Superman DC.
Exactly.
So, for instance,
Dark
DC,
DC
Sandman, even though it hasn't gotten a second season yet, Sandman did exceptionally well. It looks really good. So I would say let's look at some of the darker DC stuff. Basketball Heads, Nice House on the Lake.
Yeah,
there's some
the Hill House imprint. I think that's the kind of thing, Lucas, that you have to look at, right? That's because that's not a DC. I mean, when you look, there are no DC characters in it. This is Joe Hill, who's proven to be a success. He wrote Black Phone, right? He wrote the book, the story Black Phone was based on, which was fine. My kids, it was a horror movie I could sit around and watch with my kids on Netflix, and it was perfect. Yeah. But he's been producing a lot of content. Don't forget, he also did. It wasn't that successful, but he also did that. Does anyone remember the book with the like the hearse driver?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the title of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a hot book for a minute, and but it had a series out. It had did it have Adam Driver in it? Who did it have in it? I forget who had in it. But looking at those fringe properties around, like look back at Vertigo stuff. Grab those issues every time I see a first issue of a Vertigo book. Yeah, I'll take that because tomorrow's, today's $2 Vertigo book. And again, this is all on condition. I don't buy very fine minus of Vertigo books. You can find them in long boxes just sitting there in a lot of comic shops. I jump around and grab them. Grab first issues. Always. I do use Key Collector to check out. You can check last issues. Grab last issues. Always look for a last issue in the back of something because that's quick money to be made. But it's getting tougher and tougher now because there's so many first issues. If you look, I bet Wolverine has hit triple digits in terms of just solo titles. If you combine, it's too much. So you have to look at first issues. Are all first issues keys anymore? No, a first issue is not a key. But they throw a first appearance in there and boom, there's your key, right? So it's just a cycle, and you have to be smart and say, who's someone who I've been reading about for 8 years, 10 years? Star is another character. Where's she been, right? She was the next thing. There's still great covers. I have that third print red. That red cover is great. That's in my PC collection, right? It should be in my investment collection if Marvel had known what to do, but they got screwed during the pandemic. They were doing this Infinite Destinies with the Stones, and Jed McKay had to stop that event short. They had a book come out of it, just like the same thing happened with Empire. They canceled the whole storyline with Thor and Empire that Ram V wrote that never saw the light of day. It had a great cover. It had a Megan Hetrick cover that I really liked. It looked like stained glass. They released it on a different book. So those are the things that I'm always looking at and saying, okay, what are those little things? What are those things? People show me books all the time that I'm like, I have no idea that existed. You can't know about everything. Somebody put up earlier, great advice. Read what you want and follow three characters. It's like follow three characters and track everything down. So who's a character like that right now? Let's look at, here's a book that some people are looking at, World War Hulk 1 and then 5, and then the Scar book. Everyone's going after the variants. But then I start looking at a book that I know I can find in a dollar bin, like Greg Pak is a really interesting guy. Agents of Atlas.
Shout out to Mighty Mel V. He was the P.
Thank you, Mel, for giving us the update. I hope you shook. So we have Incredible Hulk, this one right here, where Scar meets up with Bruce Banner, right? And Bruce Banner is not with the Hulk at that time. So these meetups. So this was in a Greg Pak run. Greg Pak is the one who did everything with Amadeus Cho, did everything with his whole turnover into the Totally Awesome Hulk. Did the Hercules stuff. So Greg Pak, watch his stuff. Agents of Atlas. That's a huge thing. And don't forget that Al Ewing basically took what Greg Pak did. I wrote about this way back about the whole green door theory. Yes. He took that whole gamma radiation within there and he turned Chaos War stuff into the green door, right? Of this whole reinvention of gamma. So Greg Pak is an architect with deep roots within Marvel, but he's been very often subjugated to the side, but Marvel should be tapping in. There's a whole Asian community looking for representation.
That's what I'm looking for. Yes, Gary. That's what I'm looking for with this Secret War stuff. I'm looking for them to tap into that green door. Got to kill off Jen. You got to kill off She-Hulk. You got to bring her back as is it the ultimate of She-Hulk or is it the Immortal She-Hulk? Yeah, bring her back as the Immortal She-Hulk.
Immortal.
Right? Then roll her right into fucking A-Force. Right? And then just go from there. Like, I love this actress that's doing the She-Hulk. I love, like, ever since she did the orphan thing. Fucking love her.
Tatiana Maslany. Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, she's, they're giving her shit right now for the show, but I'm rolling with it. Right?
It's not that bad.
No, it's not. It's not that bad at all.
If you look at it as a sitcom and a comedy, it's really enjoyable.
And
just trying to add to
it. And Adam, I have to say, I agree 100% with you. Just like people have to keep remembering that Marvel is Disney, is a company, is spread it out, right? So we have a show that your 10-year-old loves. We have a show that your 13-year-old loves. We have a show that 40-year-old sarcastic person who read the Dan Slott run back will love, right? So they have to keep thinking, how do we appeal to all audiences? They want people to be sitting together or they want them sitting apart. It doesn't matter because you have the different devices now. You're in different rooms. Marvel is... You can't look. It's like looking at all comedies and saying all comedy movies suck. You can't look at Marvel movies. They're all different. Every Marvel show is different, and their platforms. I said this years ago. Nico and I sat down, spoke about MCU just when Disney Plus was being announced, and said there is going to be no more sort of barrier between film and TV. It's an interactive highway between the two. And who are the characters that are going back and forth? Everyone's still sleeping on Black Knight again, right? Black Knight is going to be a big part of what's happening with Blade because people have short memories. Eternals spec, there are things I stay away from. I don't buy Eternals. I stay away from Inhumans. It's too confusing. They've shown they can't explain either of those concepts to people, and people aren't interested in either of them.
Well, so that's what Axe is about, Gary, right? They're trying to blend all the acts together. So
But
mutants are now Inhumans.
Deviants. They're deviants.
Right. They're deviants. They're deviants of Eternal. So basically, at some point, there's going to be a more. This is where they need to walk it through. But yeah, they're freaking deviants. That's all it is. So they're on the same level as Thanos and Star Fox and all that shit. And I've seen some shit, and I've read Star Fox #1 that's coming out in like a month or so. I read it, and it's getting even weirder, right? But they're trying to blend all that stuff. So you remember how they try to get rid of mutants at some point? Yep. Well, now they're trying to bring them back. Yeah, now they're trying to bring them back, but they're trying to say, well, the caveat is that they're all one freaking thing. Remember how the whole Terrigen mess used to be a thing? Well, we haven't seen that shit in a while, right? What I don't
Marvel,
like,
right?
What I don't like is, remember there was the dude that killed off Black Bolt. He killed off most of the Inhumans and shit.
Vox.
Vox. Now there's like a Suprema Vox and everything, and then he battled fucking Captain Marvel, and then he disappeared. So they got a whole bunch of shit to explain. And I like the direction that they're going. It's just like, okay, you got me buying all these fucking books. Now what? Is this going to make it to the MCU at some fucking point or whatever? Quick quote. Eugene Inyong says, hey, 10 Years High Republic is going to be out before DC gets their shit together. Here's the deal with that. For every forward step that DC takes, they take 2 steps back. Right, so let's really get into this, right? So fucking remember there was a joint where they had Wonder Woman, right? Then they put together Shazam, and they put together Aquaman, which were good. They weren't absolutely fucking mind blowing, but they were good enough to say, okay, maybe DC's. And then they came out with Wonder Woman 84, which was shite. And then they came out with Birds of Prey, which absolutely ruined the hype, the teenage hype that the first Harley Quinn freaking joint came out with, right?
Wait, you didn't like Rosie Perez as no?
Well, it had nothing to do with Rosie Perez. It was like, okay.
Who were you? But who were you looking? I mean, What were you expecting out of that movie?
I was the vibe. It's all about. It's not necessarily. You can have a terrible story. You can have terrible acting, but the vibe, if the vibe and the costumes are off, everything else is going to be off. And it's not just me. You can see it in the freaking cosplay when you get to go to any of these conventions. That nobody thought that movie was fucking good. The vibe was fucking off.
So they're movies, but what would you say about? I'd say Peacemaker might be as good as anything that Marvel's given us in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Testify.
I'm moving in the right direction.
I would say, and
But John Cena is just a great freaking character.
Listen,
he's got great screen presence.
You say move in the right direction, but I will disagree, and I'm going to create some controversy here.
Hold on.
I'll shoot you in the face with a
James ain't got that much longer, but we're gonna pause for 1 second because they do got a book dropping, and James do got something for the Sharks.
Put me in the
All
big
there
box.
for tomorrow.
Put them in the big box.
So go ahead and do that, and then, or you can make your point and then do that. However, which way you want to do it.
I'll make my point now that I got in the room. It's hard to get everyone to be quiet all at one time here. No, I think what we all want out of DC though is we want the dark stuff, right? Marvel's always been the light, whimsical, flying through the air stuff. I think we want to see that dark DC stuff. We got to see that during the Nolan trilogy. Look how successful those were. I think we want to see. It's like we were saying before. Look at the dark side. Look at the mystical side of DC. Look at the. That's what we want to see out of DC. Like if DC gets their shit together, they're going to do it in a way that doesn't involve capes and flying people. It's going to be darker, grittier. I would love to see DC go an R-rated route and just say, listen, we'll put out some TV stuff for the kids, but as far as the movies, we're going to make this is going to be bloody and violent. Because when I grew up reading DC, that was the dark stuff. When I grew up reading Marvel, it was the lighthearted, bam, pow, bang type shit, And I think if DC wants to get their stuff right, they don't try and do don't try and have the funny stuff. Don't try and do anything like that. Like keep that for you want to do the TV series stuff. That's fine. Bring your all ages TV series stuff. But as far as movies, give us a dark Batman. Give us a Batman that's willing to kill people. Give us DC characters that are willing to get messy and dirty and grimy, And I think they do pretty good. But as of right now, it's like they don't know what direction to take, and that's Marvel's always been like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna make it funny. We're gonna add 7 to 12 good jokes throughout the movie. They've got their formula, right? DC doesn't have a formula, and that's their problem. But if DC wants to make a good home run formula, just give us dark, great superhero movies that have some depth and some darkness to them.
So Jimmy, let me stop you there. So you're talking about DC, but you got to remember who DC is owned by, and they're owned by Warner Brothers, right?
I know who they're owned by, but they need to understand that if they want to make money,
right?
They need to play it the right way.
Well, so they're working on it, right? But you also got to remember what else in the dark realm do they own, right? So, for instance, they own The Conjuring, which already has like 3 movies, right? They own Annabelle, 3 movies. Freddy.
Yeah.
Freddy movies. Fucking 6 or 7 fucking movies.
Or 12 or 15, yeah.
Yeah, the what's the It? The It franchise. That's Warner Brothers movies, right? So they get as easily as they can freaking move all that so that's why Gary and I were saying, hey, freaking all this little horror shit that they're freaking working on, they're eventually going to fucking do it because
Blumhouse, A23, right? Well, either of those, like those are the movie studios. A23 and Blumhouse are one.
Yeah, Blumhouse is amazing.
Hack Slash would have been perfect, right? Hack Slash at Blumhouse would have been like Tim Seeley would have been like that would have been a perfect book. But then all of a sudden you had Something Is Eating, Killing Children came out, and it sort of infringed on that territory a little bit. So
yeah,
it's
Well, don't forget also about Lucifer. Like that had mass appeal to it. I mean, it
Well,
probably didn't do
that
much
was
for the
that was for the suburban moms, man.
Right.
You know,
But, I mean,
even if
yeah.
like, man, that's not my Lucifer. You know, fucking
Right, exactly. But I mean, you know what I mean.
eyelashes and the fucking
That ain't
suit.
my Satan.
You know, if you won't tempt me, you can't fucking tempt me all sexually and shit. You know, it's like, yeah. You walk into the room, you know, a bunch of fucking husbands walk into the room with your wife watching TV with the lights on and off. Like, what the fuck you watching, baby? Oh, just Lucifer. Excuse me? We just came for the church. Why the fuck you watching that? You know, hey, don't worry about it. Okay. So so that's crazy, right? It was an okay franchise to move on to Netflix, and people were so adamant about it, but people do not associate it with DC.
Right, exactly. Though, yeah, that was a problem. But it shows that they can grab a broader audience, though, too, right?
Yeah.
So, man. Then we got the fucking. Don't forget the Joker. The Joker was a artistic hit, right? Artistically, a lot of reviewers liked it. I freaking liked it because if you know about the other three movies, it was homage to amazing shit. Right? I just won't watch it a second time. you know. Am I going to say, hey, let's make the universe off of that? I'm not saying that shit, but no, I think they would. Isn't Joker 2 supposed to be based off of that? But they're going to do a. It's going to be more like a
musical thing they're talking about doing.
Yeah, with Lady Gaga or some shit.
Yeah. I hope that was. I was hoping that was a joke.
That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. You know why?
That should be the first thing Discovery cancels.
Exactly. Or don't have Lady Gaga play Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Have her play Punchline.
Testify.
Actually, you can't have her play Punchline because Punchline is Asian, isn't she?
Yeah.
I guess it's
yeah.
Like a college student.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But I don't buy Lady Gaga as a PhD.
That'd be like them telling Chris Brown not to play Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna want to see that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if that Harley Quinn crashes and burns, it's gonna have Lady Gaga in it.
Oh, it will. Oh, it will.
That's gonna be her Dick Tracy, like Madonna, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's who Lady Gaga wants to be, Madonna.
Madonna or Beatty.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga has not been hot in a while, so I don't know why they're fucking trying to bring that shit.
Was it Lady Gaga ever hot? Jesus Christ! Really? I mean, I'm not that fucking blind. Lady Gaga is not hot.
Was it the paranormal plumbers or whatever, those the DC book?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that
would be a straight to Amazon freaking gem.
But it'd be something that would continue. I could see them, like, you know what I mean, just having an ongoing series. You know what I mean, like a good one.
Why is Jimmy sending me porn? What the fuck, man?
No, I sent you dick pics. It's not porn.
Hey, at that point, that's actually my perfect segue out tonight, Lucas. But I want to thank you guys. I got to be up in 4 hours to watch some Premier League soccer, so I'm going to put my coffee on so it's ready in the morning. It was great to see you guys, and
Gary.
Jimmy, I am not a certified doctor. You need to get a doctor to look at this shit.
Come on, just take a look at it and give me your honest opinion. That's all I ask.
Jimmy's like, man, if friends can't send each other dick pics, then we're not friends. Like, oh, goddamn, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thank you again, Gary, for coming on, man. We appreciate it.
Enjoy the
You're an amazing.
It was a pleasure for us to have you on, man.
Yeah, next week.
Everybody out there, if you're drinking, don't try.
Yeah. Gary, next week, pull out the box for DC.
I don't have a box. I have a whole rolling rack over here. I'm ready. We'll be ready. All right, brother. Good to see you.
Thank you very much, man.
I'll see you on the IG. Yeah. Bye-bye.
See you, brother.
Bye-bye.
That was Gary Nesser, ladies and gents. Please hit him up on Instagram. Or
the legend. That dude knows more about comic books than most of us have ever forgot, or he's forgotten more than most of us will ever know.
Comic perspective. Well, he doesn't have to remember because he's got the shit right there.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't like. Oh man, that's an interesting book. No, he runs right up there and fucking buys all that shit.
Like
telling you, man, you can tell he just read them because he'll have a stack and he'll just be like, "This book right here, you know, you just read it all." So,
what is Gary's IG? Is it Comic Perspective? I think so. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put the link in the private chat.
Yeah, Comic D Perspective.
I put the link in the private chat for his.
Yeah. All right. Jimmy, what the fuck is this?
Gun Honey issue 2. This is a homage to DeCall's Forgive Me Father.
Don't forgive me, Father. I thought interesting.
So it's actually a funny story, right? So we started doing the Gun Honeys. We got some cool covers for it. We got even like some really cool covers coming out. Issue 1, of course, sold really well. The metal sold out amazingly fast. This goes on sale tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. However, due to damages, a lot of people that bought issue 1 know this. We let everybody know the books came in pretty thrashed. So everybody that bought one,
so all those damages are on the way to my house, right?
Yeah, right. No, actually,
I'm not bullshitting, man. Like you talking a whole bunch of shit. The shit.
This one didn't. This isn't the issue that got damaged. Okay, it was issue 1. This is issue 2. So, but on issue 1, we sent everybody that bought one. We sent them 2 copies. We told them if you want a refund, that's fine. Ask for one, we'll send you a refund, but we'll send you 2 copies. The rest of them were destroying, so the print run's going to be obscenely fucking low for issue 1. But on issue 2, we talked them into letting us do a cardstock foil, so that because they said if we did a cardstock. The only cardstock option they had was foil, and they said if we do a foil, damages will likely be less. So obviously they'll be less. So we did a print run of 600 on the foil, and then we did 75 metals. So those will be available tomorrow. I'm sure they'll sell out fucking stupid quick, like always. But for the Drunken Sharks that are hanging out, we do got a discount code, and it's Drunken Shark. So when you go to check out, it's 20% off on this book. Because you know I love you guys. But this one obviously was done. It was done by Lobos. This is to call homage to Forgive Me Father. But the cool thing about this is this came to be because we were talking about Gun Honey and homages and just having this great conversation with Mr. Longshort. And he ended up dropping in the middle of the conversation. He was like, "Oh, dude, I found another copy of this Forgive Me Father." Like, I guess he picked up another copy of this because he's been hot on this book for a bit. And as soon as he sent it to us, me and Jonathan messaged each other like at the same time, to where I sent him a message and he sent me one at the same time. We're like, we need to do that. Like,
that's
almost
awesome.
At the same time in different words, you know? And so as soon as we sent there, we're like, okay, I guess we're doing that. So,
but it's awesome you're doing it on issue 2 because the Forgive Me Father issue is also issue 2.
Yeah, exactly. It fit so fucking perfect that we decided we had to do it.
So let's talk about Gun Honey. Right? This is the Gun Honey. Right?
Yeah.
What do we think about Gun Honey? Right? Is this something that's going to be a script?
I like the premise of it. I'm gonna be brutally honest, right? Because I've been reading the book.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because some of the covers have been freaking absolutely amazing. But
yeah, the Hughes covers for this
what about the fucking
great.
guts? Because the first volume absolutely fucking sucked.
Yeah,
it was like, I'm a lesbian fucking assassin.
So here's my thing about it. I think the premise behind it is really good. I think if it was produced into a TV series,
any female that gets naked is willing to get naked on screen
rewritten by the right person, I think it would be great. The premise is cool as shit, but the story as it stands as a comic, not so great. This second arc, I think, hits off at a better note. The issue 1 of this second arc, I think it hits better than the first. What was the first arc? Five issues?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, right? This second arc, I feel like the writers kind of, I don't know, it feels better, it reads better. So I think they're coming in their own as far as like anything. I would love to see this be a TV series. I would love to see somebody else write it if it became a TV series. Like, as fucked up as that sounds, but I don't know. But there's been some absolutely amazing covers for this. So
Joe 4771 is asking me, do I think that the booty? When you turn off the lights,
that's a decent booty on a skinny girl.
When you turn off the lights, they're all the same size.
Hey, the original, she looks like a heroin
addict.
Yeah.
I do like we sent this. So we sent the original the call image off to the artist, right, to Lobos, and he immediately wrote us back like, I'm not kidding you, probably 15 minutes later, and he goes, hey, it's really cool, and I'd love to do an homage to this. How do you guys feel about me making the tiles into honeycombs? And as soon as he said that, we were just like, oh, please do. Like, absolutely, man, please do that.
How about she get a suit, a painted on suit full of honeycombs?
Isn't she already set for a show on Cinemax? I don't know. Maybe Skinemax, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Definitely on Skinemax.
3 o'clock morning.
Check it out. Fuck it.
Yeah, it sounds like a Cooking with Adam show.
Yeah.
Talking about.
Hey, that's Awesome Sauce Radio, yo.
Yeah. And so for Gun Honey #1, something that was interesting that just came out last week was there's a signed. I forget whether it's by the writer or it's by the writer. Signed by the writer, one per store that just came out like last week. It was weird. It just fucking showed up like a little fucking promo, which is weird because didn't Gun Honey #1 come out like a year ago or some shit? It was weird. Is an artist that for show that sucker rated R Honeycomb. Yeah. Dope cover that. Absolutely. It kind of reminds me. It looks like an Adam Hughes, but this is by Jeff DeCall, which is kind of interesting.
No, it's by Lobos. It's after
By
Jeff
Lobos?
DeCall did the Forgive Me Father cover. So
Okay.
Lobos, I actually had a good conversation with Lobos. I've had several good conversations with Lobos. Ninth was the one that showed me Lobos actually at MegaCon and was like, dude, you got to see this guy, and brought me over to him. But the dude, I talked to him instantly, like immediately was like, so you're heavily influenced by Adam Hughes? And he goes, yeah, he's my favorite artist. So the guy's like, a lot of his art style is very reminiscent of Adam Hughes because like that's the guy that like when he started doing art, that was the guy that he emulated and he adored and loved and followed. So the softer tones in the way he does stuff is very, very similar to Adam Hughes.
So here's the deal, Jimmy, and here's why I don't like this cover. Everybody knows I'm from Philly, South Philly.
I literally did not know you're from Philly.
I'm from Philly, right? So and I came out to the Shenandoah Mountains to get some peace. This lady right here with all that jewelry on, she reminds me of the girls from Jersey, them Jersey girls, right? That will put it on you. She will put it on you that first night, will fuck up your life every day after that.
You ain't lying.
All that. So her just sitting there looking all peaceful and shit. I'd be goddamn the fucking gun and fucking pointing at you. It's not truthful from my life experience.
She look like she from Perth Amboy.
If she had the gun in one hand and was looking like she was getting ready to knock your ass out, that would be true to my experience. That's the only thing I got. I guess this fucking cover. Otherwise, yeah, tight. Yeah, it's tight. It's a pretty cover. It just doesn't feel right to me. It's just like, okay, why is this like, okay, why are you pointing to the gun at me? Like look, bitch, I don't remember her name. I don't know why she sent me a message. I don't know. I don't all that shit. Like, oh, I was just with the boys last night. It's like, it looks like the calm before the storms. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be PTSD. Who is Jessica? I don't know who Jessica, and she's going to say, I'm gonna ask you one more time, and then it's the peace. It's the peace before the storm. Is why I don't like this fucking girl. Just saying.
He said he just Googled.
Just Google it is option for a TV show. Really?
That's what I had heard. Yeah,
and it was interesting. Adam, didn't you have the dude on your show?
I did have the head of a hard case crime on the show about a year ago.
Yeah.
I was thinking of inviting him back.
All right, yeah, have them
Yeah,
back.
because that's the
but
episode.
so also remember, and I've told y'all before, options run out, right? So after a year, those options run out, and then now they're actually going to do anything. The freaking company has to freaking dial them back again and pay for more options, right? And it's just the thing. So even though, look, how many freaking joints have been optioned in the last 5 years, and we just haven't seen that shit or heard about it since. You're like, well, that was option. Well, guess what, motherfucker? The option been run out.
You can't. I had somebody who's well versed in the industry tell me once that a lot of times options aren't always because a company plans on making a film or a TV series, but it can just be as much that they're planning on making a film or TV series that's close enough that they want to stop something else from competing.
Absolutely. Yes.
And
I've been told people that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this very well could be something that shows up, or it could be something similar enough shows up that somebody was like, well, we'll pay our $100,000 to make sure that this doesn't show up for the next year so we can get our shit going. So you never know. I mean, that's indie spec, and it's indie spec in a nutshell. You kind of have to like weed through it and read between the lines on stuff. I haven't heard of anything like this coming out soon, but that doesn't mean it isn't. And this might very well be the one that shows up, or it could be an iteration of that similar to, So, but buy it because it's a pretty covering, because you love Hive Comics and we give you guys discounts. That's why you buy it.
DT says if she were real, she would be a big life challenge and would be worth all of it. Look, this is about that time of the year, guys, where Target and Starbucks is about to get a big tick.
Hell yeah, pumpkin spice everything.
If you were going to invest in anything right now, I would invest a lot in Target and don't go on fucking Starbucks, man, because that's when the girls are all out. It's their final time to be looking all cute and shit right before they fucking get ready to fucking eat all the damn turkey and all that shit, right? And they fucking hate themselves and they hate you as regards. So just go ahead and fucking lock in that stock right now. Go ahead if you're single and you're like Aaron and looking to eat a whole bunch of ass, go out and hang out in fucking Starbucks and Target. I'm sorry, Aaron. I pick on you too much, putting your business all out there in the streets and shit.
I didn't even know Aaron was here because that comment's been up so long.
Oh shit!
I just got back too. Anyways, that's all good.
Oh,
but
hey,
I'm glad I used to work at Starbucks because I had that Starbucks stock, and it was at the time period when it was pretty low because they had bad press on them, and now it's like, I think it's increased quite a bit. Like all my coworkers are like, sell that, grab the cash now. I was like, no. I see how people act here every single day. I see the same customer at the same time. Like, why would I do that?
Dude, Starbucks is an addiction, man.
Yeah,
it is.
It's a drug.
It's like, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, fucking these Starbucks employees left because of the fucking union. It's like, but the shit still. Look, here, don't let them fucking lie to you. I have run a cafe by myself. You don't need 7 or 8 fucking employees. You just need that one dedicated motherfucker that knows how to run the fucking machines and knows how to do the little fucking art. You're fucking good.
Yeah, if you can run 2 or 3 machines at once, like that's the shit, dude. It's easy.
Consistency, right? You want to know that no matter where you are in the world, it's early in the morning. You want that cup of coffee. You get the same cup of coffee in Seattle that you got in California. And if you're that place that can provide that, you're gonna make money. And Starbucks is pretty good at it. I wouldn't say they're perfect at it, but they're pretty good at it.
Yeah, fucking Starbucks, man, makes mad money daily. It's crazy how many people go in there every damn day. Yeah, fucking coffee is easy. The coffee is easy. It's when motherfuckers want to fucking with the fucking sandwich. That's when it gets a little fucked. It's like, oh man, I gotta fucking pull this shit out, fucking wrap it up for them and shit. Yeah, fuck all that, man. My daughter buys that shit every day. That is a $30 fucking a day habit. Shit.
Damn. Hey, listen, I'm gonna go on a tangent real quick because it's Drunken Chat and I'm allowed to do that here. If you order a metal copy of this, don't expect to get it a week after the fucking book releases. Okay, calm the hell down on that shit. I literally just got an email from somebody that was like, hey, I ordered this month for Gun Honey 1. I ordered the metal 3 weeks ago and I don't have the metal yet. Yeah. It's a cover treatment. It takes time. Like
what's crazy is
we're not slapping them on here in the office. Like I don't have a stack of fucking metal covers to put on these books. Like that's not how we I'm not
You're not a publisher or printer?
Yeah.
No, and I'm not Black Flag, so you know, I gotta let people do it the way they're gonna do it.
You know what's crazy is Diamond also sent out a garbage pail kid Smash Balls metal joint.
Oh, shit.
Last week they sent that one out, and I have not really been into the metal shit, but that shit that came out, woo,
dude, metals
They're starting
nice.
to get some traction.
Really nice.
Lucas, our greatest thing, dude, is like we use them as like giveaways and stuff like that for like on Whatnot sales and on the when we do mystery boxes, we send some out, dude. And as soon as people get one on their hand and they actually see them, they're like, holy shit, these are cool. Like it's different, you know, it's totally different.
It's hard to let them go.
Yeah, dude, it really is. And I don't know, man, it's when they're done right. Like this one, we think with that background, the way that shows up on a white metal, that background's going to it should look really good. When they hit, hit.
I know you got to be thinking of doing a black background. Black background. The area around the honeycombs, black.
No.
It's up to you.
Sorry, Lucas. You're fired. You're fired from Hive.
Woo! I don't know how I'm gonna pay these bills around this month.
Yeah, shit. I work for Hive and I don't know how I pay these bills. No, dude, honestly, black it's weird, man. Like we've been doing metals for so long, you start to realize the colors that work and the colors that don't, and black doesn't unless you find there's one printer that does black. They do it's a pearl. They do a pearl black, and that works. But for the most part, black doesn't work on metals. Like it just doesn't work. It doesn't look good. It's full color or nothing.
Let's see. They even had to put a fucking joint in there that says the corners are sharp.
They are sharp. They fucking hurt.
Let's see. Yeah, this fucking just fucking blends in and shit. But here we go. Yeah, you can't really get the effect of it, but I tell you, that shit is fucking pretty. That shit is fucking pretty as fuck.
Do we got some? I actually have a. So I moved in the new spot and I've been organizing books, and the shelf in front of me is all fucking. It's actually all metals right now.
Yeah. Joe 47 is asking what metal is it? Aluminum?
Yeah, it's aluminum. It's like a treated aluminum that they print the image over, and you can do colors, right? So you can do a gold treated aluminum that has so it'll have a more gold background. You start to we've done so many metals, like we're kind of the ones that really pioneered it.
K405 says that he just bought the regular cover.
You just bought you can't until tomorrow, so you didn't. But
he probably bought issue 1.
Oh my god!
Issue 1? Yeah. No, the metals on issue 1 sold out fucking instantly. But no, it's weird. You start to realize that like you can, depending on the background color, before it goes into the printer, you get different effects. Like we've got some really cool effects, but
this is like a fucking knife. Man. You could fucking kill somebody with this.
You could stab someone with that shit.
Oh yeah, you could really fuck somebody up.
Cut someone so bad you don't know you cut them so.
I'm trying to see if I've got a really cool one that we did like a different background. Oh, on this one, here you go. This is a good example. So we did this one. This was for Turbo Kid, but we did this one on a gold background, and then the painting was, or the image was overlaid over the gold. So the gold's got like more of a hyper reflective color to it. So the original background on it was aluminum that was laid with a gold background, and then the image was laid over it. And because of that, like the depth of the explosion behind them was way different. So it's kind of
actually
like,
layered on.
yeah. So it's funky. Like you start realizing after you've done a few of them, you start realizing like it was the same with the Niobes, that cover right there. We did that one with the gold too, and it the way it showed up was just totally different. So we do some with silver, some with black, some with white, some with golds. We're gonna do the that one, the gun honey will be in whites because it'll soften the tones of everything else. So it'll look true to that image, but it'll be on the metal. So it should look pretty dope. I don't know. We won't see until it comes out, but it should look pretty dope. We've been pretty good up to this point.
Well, I know the metal behind your shoulder turned out really good.
The Niobe, yeah, it was killer. Dude, I found a stack of fucking... I was so happy today. I was unboxing boxes to like organize. I found 15 more foils of that Niobe that we thought we were sold out of those things. I was so happy. I've never been so happy to find a stack of books in my life.
K405 says he collects glow-in-the-dark covers just for fun. What about that rose beige Wonder Woman joint? The one with the pink flowers and shit. I forget. Is it Coronation? Maybe a Coronation. I forget what it is.
Was there a glow-in-the-dark rose beige?
Yeah, there was a glow-in-the-dark rose beige.
Oh, for the Sheena, right?
Yeah. No. It was for Wonder Woman, but people were complaining that it doesn't.
Is that for the one black and gold book?
Do you have to like flash a black light on top of it?
Something like that. But people were complaining it doesn't fucking really do anything. All right, ladies and gents. 3:52 in the morning. Time to get into some actual FOC stuff to lock us out.
Hey, I love you guys. I'm out of here.
We're out?
Dude, this East Coast time's got me fucked up, dude. It's 4 o'clock where I'm at right now. I'm used to
4 o'clock where I'm at too.
I'm used to.
Yeah, I'm the only one that's in Central Time
right now. And it's still. Let me get used to.
You're not on East Coast time.
Yeah, I'm on East Coast time now, dude. I'm in South Carolina now.
Okay.
Yeah, I just moved into a new house.
I hope you don't have any. I hope you don't have any student freaking loans or some shit. That's
no, fuck. I ain't got no loans, dude. I got no debt.
Yeah,
I'm debt
let
free.
them get crazy. Like even if you did get forgiven for some of that shit, that's just gonna be counted as tax benefits.
No, I'm debt free. And my wife had student loans, but she's worked for the state. She worked for the federal government for 10 years. And because of that, her student loan stuff got forgiven on something else before all this shit. Like,
but that's state by state. Yeah, that's state by state versus.
No, we're good.
Federal and shit. But all right, man.
We sold our house and moved into this one so we could get rid of all of our debt. So we're good. I'm debt free.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Jimmy, for stopping by, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I love you guys.
All
See you, Adam.
Later.
See you, Lucas.
See ya. All right, ladies and gents, once again, it's about that time. We're going to try and rush through some of these. Once again, if you need to get a hold of me for any reasons, I am Chitlins, Greens Cornbread. You can find me on Chitlins on Whatnot. We're going to be trying to do some comics this weekend, but most definitely trying to get through some of these garbage pail kid cards. Tell you what, some of them have been amazing, and of course, please subscribe to Comic Crusaders. And I think we're gonna break this off right now. The Comic Book Conglomerate on YouTube. Go ahead and find the Comic Book Conglomerate on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. We're still working through it, but you can go ahead and subscribe right now to the Comic Book Conglomerate. And that'll so when we start to do the changeover, you'll already be there. Or some of those, if you're already subscribed, I think you're fine already. But here we go. DC, some of the news is old, but the main thing is DC fandom is canceled. So even though Marvel is having D23 next week, DC fandom has been canceled. What do you think about that, freaking Aaron, man? Because look,
Do you think they're just trying to see like what Marvel is gonna do and then kind of plan it for later or like early in the spring or something like that?
they looked down the barrel of a fucking guy and said, "Well, what's the best thing we got going on right now? It's supposed to be Flashpoint, but our fucking star
Right. Like
can't decide who he is, what he is, none of the other shit."
yeah.
So,
Or is always getting arrested or ended up in jail. So
That's about cults.
yeah.
you know, it's like there is a way to move through life and not be creepy, and he's doing the exact opposite of all that shit. You know,
Well, do you think it's like money that like changed him to be like that, or was he always like that?
He may have always been like that, and the money just like brought it out of him.
Yeah, that's usually the way it goes. That you were always creepy, but your money allows you to do it on such a scale that is more noticeable. And it's just the way it is. Yeah, and then Warner Brothers, their stock has been dropping. In the meantime, the executives have been buying.
Well, because wasn't it like what at 23 when they first merged?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm. No. See, we've already talked about some of the Thunderbolt stuff. The fact that Yelena Belova most likely will be heading a new Thunderbolts joint team. Then the Moon Knight has exchanged Nokshu for Shemsu when it comes to the gods. September 6th, which is in 3 days, that's your last chance to get in on the Arena Media Holdings. Here's the deal. Your minimum investment is $99.06. If it does not make a certain earmark, you get your money back. Simple as that. I can't. Like, hey, if it doesn't make the money it's supposed to make, get your money back. I can't. It's just as simple as that, right? In the meantime, it's a 26 cents a share right now. All right, getting to some actual comic stuff. There was no big changes because it's Labor Day weekend, so a lot of these guys were out of freaking office still. Minor Threats number 2, which I believe has been optioned, I think, or some stuff is on the horizon as at number 2. Oh, once again, I've changed the format for a lot of stuff. So if you're watching and you are saying, hey, I might actually want that freaking comic. You can actually see that little scan thing there, that little QR code. You can actually scan that with your little freaking phone, and it shall take you to a website where this comic actually is.
That's sick.
Then also from Dark Horse Comics, Night of the Goal, number 1. There is a 1 to 1,000, a 1 to 500, and a 1 to 50, 1 to 100, 1 to 200. But the only one that I've got my eye out on is the Tula Lotte, which is only a 1 to 10. That's the only one I care about. Dark Spaces Wildfire, number 4. Yeah, Dark Spaces Wild, number 4. What you guys need to know about Dark Spaces is that they have initiated returns on the number 1 issue, on the first issue.
Wasn't that option though?
It was option. Yes, sir. Yeah. So think about that. It's an option joint, and just now they've initiated returns. So retailers that don't know can now return it. That means that there should be a lot less copies out there in the wild.
Yeah, because initially got hyped because it's Scott Snyder original property or original IP.
Yeah, it was like I've told people about it before. I tried to explain to them. I was like, you know what? This should be something, right? It should be at least a series or at least a freaking movie. It was a good premise, right? It was about 4 women. They were supposed to fight a fire. Then they find out that there's actually a hidden room with a whole bunch of stuff and riches. So they just say, hey, let's go ahead and grab these fucking riches because this whole house is going to come down. But the problem is the more stuff they grab, well, shit, they're going to have to find another way out.
Yeah.
And that's the big premise of this freaking thing. I was like, you know what, there's something to this. So, and guess what? Sure enough, right? Star Trek Lower Decks number 2. If you haven't been watching that freaking joint, I don't know what to freaking tell you. It has definitely.
We got a bot attack.
Oh shit. 4 o'clock in the morning. This dude has nothing better to do.
Right.
I guess it's probably what 1 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the
wherever
afternoon.
they are. Yeah. But wasn't the option to like something that like no one's even heard of, like the production company or the streaming service, like
which means it's more than likely to go through.
Okay, and then it get big. Like once it gets produced, and it get picked up by someone else, and then a mass audience could get to it.
Right, it's more than likely to actually get produced. Right, everyone's like, "Oh, what the fuck is this fucking?" Right, well, if it's by some channel you've never heard of, it's more likely to go through, and they're more likely to produce it. It will bomb, but somebody will like it, and then they'll get it bought out by another channel.
And then it gets a giant cult following or whatever.
Sir. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ongoing number 133 has got a 1 of 10 by Robson. And IDW is still sticking with Godzilla, but all right. So there's a new series called Brigade number 1.
Is it because Image is doing like all these 30th anniversaries or old titles?
Yeah, man. Fucking, I don't know whether Liefeld's got a whole bunch of bills to fucking pay or what the fuck is going on, but it is
kids in college.
Yeah, like, look, he's in that bracket where he ain't getting shit fucking forgiven. So it's like, all right, well, let's go ahead and take care of this shit. Just blam, put out all the covers. Department of Truth number 21. It's got a 1 of 25. Flawed number 1. I've heard some things about this, so tread lightly. Don't take a first and second look at it if you see it on just sitting there on the shelves.
It's a writer from Bitterroot, isn't it?
I forget. Old Dog number 1. That one's already like a Netflix series. It was already like I think somebody was telling me today that it was like a manga series or some shit already, and then they changed it to they tried to Americanize it. It's Old Dog. It's already out there on Netflix or some shit like that. And it's got a 1 of 10 and a 1 of 25. Onyx number 1 is coming out. Scorched number 10.
Are people actually enjoying that read?
Well, there's this little Spawn fans. They don't care about the fucking read. They're just like, Spawn is Spawn.
Right? That's true.
True that.
Unnatural Blue Blood number 3. I didn't know that they were still carrying on with that shit. That naked pig, but all right. Naked over-sexualized pig.
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man has a facsimile coming out.
Didn't they already do one before?
Yeah, they did one. Came out last week.
Which one is this one?
Number 1. Amazing Spider-Man Amazing Spider-Man number 1.
Okay.
Ant-Man number 4. I've read it already. New character in this one. And there's a NetEase. That's the one to the left. Axe Star Fox number 1. It's kind of more feminine in this one. But there is a Fox variant. Then there's Axe X-Men number 1. Then there's an Art Adams.
So they wanted to jump into the front of the line now, right? Instead of being like the last bid.
Captain America Sentinel of Liberty. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what's going on with this book. There's something going on with this fucking book, but I just can't remember it right now. I should probably write all this shit down. But yeah, there was something. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of new characters in this book. Like a bunch. Daredevil, second print. Edge of Spider-Verse number 5, first appearance of Webweaver, which is weird because Webweaver is actually supposed to be a Nazi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Nazi would have been Miles Morales. So I guess they decided not to put him in that. Or maybe it is Miles Morales. I don't know what the fuck. But apparently this is supposed to be the first appearance of a gay Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
And
heard
it
about
was-
it was making a bunch of
Hearing
buzz.
about for a while.
Yeah, it was making a bunch of buzz like even before the first issue dropped.
Yep.
When are we going to make it to the point where being gay is not like a thing that has to be reported in the news? Like the first gay whatever.
I don't know.
Who knows at this point?
K45 says there are 3 new Spider characters.
At this point, it's like, whoop-de-doo.
He said he also thinks that Adam is checking out new websites.
You damn right I am.
Like obviously you have never watched Adam's show.
You
Yeah.
watch Also Sus Radio
Obviously.
on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m.
He's just checking up and seeing how his friends are doing. Like
That's the only way I stay in touch with my friends, man.
That was like probably one of the wildest podcasts I've ever been on before. I'll say that.
it was weird. It was weird because I
I
was
had
like,
plans to bring you back, Eric.
"Oh, were you on?"
Yeah, I
He
was
was
on.
on the 60 episode 69
69.
spectacular.
Yeah, I was on the 69th episode.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Hulk number 9. It's got an Azrael joint. It's got a 1 in 25 by Panosian. I do like the Predator variant. And I'm not sure who it is that's in the the Hulk number 9, the cover A. Looks like the chick from Power Rangers. What's her name? The villain chick.
Rita.
Yeah.
Wait, so is this the start of the Predator covers then? Because
Not-
then they just finished up with Alien.
No, they've been doing Predator covers for a while now.
Okay, maybe I just yeah.
Thor, number 5, NetEase. The Marauders, number 7, NetEase, with Dakin.
Yep.
Miracle Man, number 0, it's got a young cover, a Dotson cover.
Nice.
A Momoko 1 in 200.
I like that Scotty Young cover better.
Did my Moko phone that in?
It looks like she took a trading card and then added a background to it.
All right, so it's not as bad. All right.
New Fantastic Four, number 5, at NetEase. Edge of Spider-Verse, number 5. Oh, so this is a list of some of the NetEase covers that are coming out. Edge of Spider-Verse, number 5. Defenders Beyond, number 5. She-Hulk, number 8, has a what's the name of that fucking duck? Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
X-Men Red, number 8, with a very sexualized Storm.
Sweet.
Ant-Man number 4, Savage Avengers number 6, with a terrible looking cover for Elektra. Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings number 4. I don't know why they're still making a Shang-Chi book.
Is anybody even reading that shit?
Nobody is fucking reading. Nobody gives a fuck about that fucking book. So here's how to fuck up your book. You have a movie that's coming out. You got a fucking book. And you introduce a whole bunch of characters in a book that comes out before the movie. You have a movie, and you don't bring out those fucking characters into the fucking book. And then the movie ends. Everybody's like, ambivalent to the fucking movie, and you keep the fucking book going, and then it's like, okay, why am I still reading this fucking book if these characters are never going to be in the MCU?
Yeah, it's a waste.
Testify.
Spider-Man number 1, Adams. Then there's a 1 in 100 by Ditko.
I do like that Art Adams cover.
It was amazing, right? The 1 in 25 by Stegman, a 1 in 50 by Frank Miller, a Bingo connecting variant, which has got a bunch of the new characters on there, and notice, I know you guys can't see. Let's see if I can build this actually. So right there, there's a big black circle that says spoiler. So there's something hidden. I don't know whether it's probably like a new character or something like that.
Like a spoiler cover? What is that? What it's being advertised as?
Yeah. And then yep. All right, forward. Star Wars Mandalorian number 4. There's A1-100 by Malco, A1-50 by Greg Land, and then what's interesting is the concept art pairing, bottom right.
I heard the rumor that Cara Dune was supposed to show up in this issue, but then I heard from someone else saying that like no, she ends up not being in this issue.
Really?
But does it matter?
How did they know? Because I looked at the previews and I didn't see the Star Wars shit there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't know. I
don't know.
Insider information. No, sure.
Tomb of Dracula number 1 facsimile. By AWA, New Think number 4. There's a cover by Qua, and then there's a Raza.
Nice. I've actually been enjoying that read. It's like a murder mystery where this app developer gets a billion downloads, and people are using this app, and then his partner into it ends up being murdered, and so it's like a detective case. They're trying to figure out, piece back what happened to that.
Okay, all right. Briar number 1 is coming out. Here's a Stephanie Hans. There's an Unlockable. There's a 1-50 by a Frizen, 1-25 by a Merca Andolfo and a Paquette. House of Slaughter number 9. There's a 1-50. 1-25 by Del Etera. And then there's also a body bag, right, which is not $3.99 but $4.99.
We've had a few of those now.
Promethe 1313 number 3, 1-10 by Martin Burrow. And then there's a 30 copy version. I haven't read that shit. Sheena Queen Jungle number 9 by Sudam. And then there's a cover deal by Beige and a Perillo Ultraviolet. Vampirilla Year 1. My favorite is that one to the middle, up top to the middle, that Tapano original. That's her dancing with a skeleton. Bottom right,
cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Then the one to the middle bottom, that's the Perillo Ultraviolet.
All right, one more time. Check the chat.
Jesus Christ. He did it again.
I know, crazy, right?
There's a comic coming out by Scott Comics called Coachella, covered by Tula Lote.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
So is that going to play off the whole Coachella thing then? The music festival?
That's an interesting question, right? Because
yeah,
just looking at me, I'm thinking it gives me Midsommar vibes. I don't know if you've ever seen that fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you brought up Coachella, that'd be interesting,
right?
Cheech and Chong's Chronicles: A Brief History of Weed.
Nice,
sweet.
Is that their first trade paperback?
I'm not sure. I thought there was something else out there. I'm not sure.
There may be, but I think that maybe be the first.
I mean, because I know back in the day they used to do like the comedy albums, and they've been in magazines and all that. But is it something that's like the first like comic form that's like a trade, right?
Possibly.
Mm-hmm. Larry Joe says that Coachella has an ash can.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so Got Honey Blood for Blood number 1. Once again, Hive has a retailer variant, so just keep that in mind. For number 1, there's a second print. For number 2, there's a 1 of 5 copy. There's a nude bagged variant, which is $10. There's a Molossia cover B. There's a cosplay variant, and then there's a Hurricane cover D. Man, Goat, and Bunny Man, Green Eggs and Blam, number 3, 1 of 10.
Oh, they're still trying to stretch that out?
Yes, they are. $10 SRP.
Oh, wow.
$10.
That's crazy.
SRP. Then there's a cover C for that one, which is $5.99. Florida Man has a book out there, which we don't have the art for that one yet. But there for Man Goat, going back to Man Goat and Bunny Man, there is number 3. There's a cover B, which kind of looks good. I just don't know what it has to do with the story.
Oh, did you hear what happened on Florida Man issue number 2?
What happened, man?
On the cover, they ended up putting issue number 1.
Really?
In the corner box.
Oh, wow.
Poison Ivy, the cover was all fucked up. Poison Ivy number 4. It's coming out Wednesday, but the cover was all jacked up. I think it was a Micah cover.
Oh, wow.
So keep that in mind. I think we talked about this one. Yeah, we talked about the WandaVision director becoming the WandaVision director, Matt Shakeman. He's going to be the director for the Fantastic Four movie. Weeks of Spider-Man, Judgment Day, Cameron 3, Captain America: Symbol of Truth. Wait, is this right? Hold on. I think that's right.
Yeah,
I feel like this is last week.
I want to say this is FOC for this week.
Oh yeah, I think we're nope, that's it. I think we're done. Yeah, that was it. That freaking that Man Goat and yeah, I was just a little bit more efficient than and I just started drifting to other shit.
We didn't get derailed in the conversation though.
Yeah. 1, 5, 6. All right. Very quickly into the Wayback Machine.
Oh man, people are gonna be upset they missed this.
I mean, it's only 4:00 in the morning. If you can't be up 4:00 in the morning to get some of this. Batman Superman World's Finest number 4. I was weirded out by this one, man. Freaking look, it was a $70 book. Now it's hovering in between $29 and $74.99. That Edge of Spider-Verse number 1, that Humberto Ramos, which is a 1 in 25. It was originally 35 to 40. Now you can get it for between 11 and 49. That Poison Ivy number 3, that I know a lot of stores did not order because they don't think it's really good. It was going for 60. Now it's going for 122.
Oh wow, that's some big gains.
Yes, sir. That is, look, these artistic pieces. If you're not getting these artistic pieces, you're fucking up.
Yeah.
Mandalorian number 2, that Jim Chung 1 of 50, was going for 75 to 85. It's still around the same price at 79. That Shirtless Bear Fighter number 2, Paolo Rivera, which was 25, only a slight tick up to 26, but still going strong with 11 sold within the last week. That Batman number 125 second print, 9 sold at around $33. Then, of course, another great art piece, that Detective Comics number 1003, that Amano, Yoshitaka Yamano 125, 4050. And don't forget that Grim number 4, Junior Frism Virgin variant. You're still doing well. The things I'm keeping an eye out on is there was a first appearance of Betty and Veronica Friends Forever Summer Surf Party number 1.
Yep.
It was going for between 50 and 20, still having around the same price. Going lower though is Ant-Man number 1, that Baldian 1 to 25. It was going for 40-50, now it's down to 28. Slight tick up is the Mandalorian number 1, which is 5 to 10. now going for $11.10. However, 233 sold within the last week.
Oh wow, that's quite a bit.
So that means something to me. And we're talking about cover A's.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was that Audi ground off, and then what I mean, the one you're showing is the Audi ground off, but I don't remember if that was the A cover or not. If that was like what the C cover.
I forget, but what Ben was talking about was a cover A.
Okay, but the point being is that they recreated that for cons and stuff like that. Like they had it exclusive for San Diego. I don't know if it was directly from Audi or if it was from like a certain store.
Okay. Then of course I think Brian Clay talked about on the show that Evanescence Echoes from the Void #1. There's a 1-5 video game variant, 1520. It's still the same. Going back to some of these #1s, Black Adam #1, that Lucio Perillo 1/100. That was the first appearance of Malik White. But it's going from 1/25 to 1/40, $30 uptick to 174 average. But that was only a 6 sold, so who knows? Yeah. Keep an eye out on this one, the Timeless #1, which was the first cover appearance of Miss Minutes.
Hell yeah!
Originally $30. Not the yellow one, not the cover A. I didn't bring that one in. But that one's still doing well. Yeah, Adam, you're still good. Yeah, you're still good.
Actually, I went to get my bag from a Terra Strong signing from CGC at the moment.
Yeah, no.
Well,
this one is... Go ahead.
They also had that Miss Minutes pop that just came out not too long ago.
Yeah.
So
is that the one with where she was with Renslayer?
I'm not sure.
Renslayer Miss Minutes 2-pack that they came out with too.
Okay, yeah, I know they made a one that was like slightly larger. I think it was like released around C2E2.
I'm gonna have to check through that.
Hey, Lucas, check the chat. Okay.
Yeah. Look, man, freaking, if you need help, man, just give me a call. And my phone number, you can get my phone number, man. Just give me a call at 1-800. Go fuck yourself. I will be helpful.
I thought your phone number was
or freaking. Yeah, or freaking, go over to Autumn's house, freaking chat. Freaking, I'm always hanging out there. And freaking,
So that second print,
Access Media team thanks you into that.
So the second print 1/25 or the Timeless, that's pretty much held steady then, huh?
It is ticked up.
It's ticked up.
It's ticked up because when Ben originally printed this, he put it out at $30. It is now up to $108.
Oh wow!
And I scanned it. I was like, "Oh wait, hold up. Let me make sure that we're not talking about 9/8 and anything. Some of them have been taken off at 108. So raw. So keep that in mind. We saw freaking Knife fucking around with this one. Death of Doctor Strange, Bloodstone #1 at 1/10. Actually, he said he had bought it for my my whatnot.
Oh wow, you still have some.
I sold it to him for $7.
Dang, that's crazy.
This was originally for $50 to $60. It's still going around for $59. Staying steady is Detective Comics number 1063. The amount of 125. Spider-Gwen Gwenverse. Reach for Malco.
That's pretty impressive with the 1/10 because they printed that second print with the exact same cover. You thought
exactly.
I thought it would have kind of tanked the price a little bit.
Exactly, but
still, I mean, there's smart consumers out there that know hey, this is a first print, not a second print.
Who knows what people are thinking, man?
I guess,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's some influencers out there that are clicking light bulbs off for them. I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know. But I will say, man, freaking Game of Thrones. I've been telling y'all about that Game of Thrones shit for a fucking while, and it just finally popped up on CBSI. So, more #1s, Daredevil #1, Woman Without Fear #1, that Jen Bartel 150, was originally $100, had a $24 spike.
Oh wow!
When it came out, now at 124. The DC Pride #1 is staying steady. It was going between 40 to 50. Now it's at 41, but not many freaking sold because people don't know what's in it. That's the problem. There is a first appearance in there, but it's a transgender person, so it's like, So what I would say is keep an eye out on that one. If it drops, pick it up. Right? I have a feeling that within the next 6 to 7 months, it's going to freaking drop. People have lost sight of this one. The Fortnite X Marvel Zero War Marco Terrini variant, which was originally $40.50, is now dropping to $24. I could say this. It should be like around 10. So keep an eye out for when it drops down to freaking 10, then you can freaking pick it up because it is. I think there's only maybe 5,000 of these.
Was it actually just a UK release or European release?
No, Diamond USA got some because I got
okay.
Some. Right. So there's at least 5,000 out there that I can think of. It's just one of those things. Is like people don't know what it is,
right?
That's why it's like.
Oh well, I mean, it's actually gathering Fortnite players into the comic realm.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like, okay, now that school is starting back, now that football season is starting back, how tough is it going to be for Fortnite to keep its momentum and keep it at the top of everybody's mind?
Yeah.
Joe 477 is asking if Thomas is going for that much. What is my Avengers 8 going for in the 3.0? What is that supposed to mean? Is Miss Minutes in that one?
No, isn't that a Kang book? First Kang?
Yeah, but that's not why the Thomas joint is going up. It's because of Miss Minutes. Poison Ivy #1, Frank Cho went to 50. Staying steady, Steps Disturbed, Dark Messiah #1, Top McFarlane went to 10, and the 120 doing good at $20, $40 respectively. Staying still. Some of these we've already covered. I need to do some more research. I will keep bringing this up by the end of this month. That Deathstroke. I like that Mary Jane Black Cat. That Thor. People. These are some forgotten soldiers right here, man. That Department of Truth #1. That 6th print. That Black Knight. Gary talked about that earlier. These 1 year ago, man. Freaking that Nice House on the Lake. That's House on the Lake. That's one that me and Gary were talking about. Like, hey, man, freaking these DC.
That's a hot book for a while, man.
Yeah, it was.
It was, right? And don't forget that there's a second print that was like a 1 in 25, or maybe like 1 in 50 that's out there. Yeah. Keep an eye out on D23 for the Star Wars High Republic Adventures books.
Yep.
First appearance, that #6 was the first appearance of that little dude. And I've talked about him before. That's a crazy little story because his alien race, the way they raise their children is they drop them off on a fucking planet, on a violent fucking planet. And if the baby survives, the only way the baby survives is the baby like rolls into like some type of thing, and it just tries to grow, and then it just waits until it's old enough, and then it fucking tries to kill everything around it. And the first thing it kills, it takes the skull of the first thing it kills, and it puts it on his fucking head. That's where, yeah. And that's the only way to keep it from fucking killing everything, right?
Nice.
Yeah, because I remember when they revealed that character, he was just wearing the skull, right?
Yeah. It's a crazy fucking story, man.
Yeah.
Maybe one of my most favorite freaking characters right now. Kanto, Never #1, God Killer. So yeah, none of these joints or anything that are hot right now. Once again, I'm going to keep updating this one. Keep updating as I go. If you guys feel like I've missed anything within for the last 30 days or the last year as far as number ones, let me know, and I'll freaking add that on to the next one that I'm going to do. Maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. It all depends, right? But I feel like we had a really good show. Thank you to Gary Nesser for coming by. Thank you to Aaron Yee taking the freaking time to freaking come by. Thank you to Light Adam for stopping by. And the Russian bot, go fuck yourself. No, look, man, freaking look, you got shit to do. Go find yourself a nice little lady. To
go to armselfx.com and she'll hook you up, man. Tell her that Blind Adam sent you.
Yeah, man. Who was that lady that you had on your show, man? Freaking, she was
Ray Ray.
Yeah, because she looked normal until I looked her up on Twitter. It was like, oh no, she's not normal at all, man. She's all into the weird shit. Oh my god. But that's the way it is now, man. Freaking everybody's into their own shit, and it used to be if you were into weird shit, that weird shit stayed inside the four walls of your house. Now you're like, oh, I like weird shit. Let me find a whole bunch of other people that like weird shit with me, and let me just put it out everywhere. That's just me. That's my whole personality.
That's what social media is for, right?
Jesus fucking Christ, right? But once again, love y'all. Thank y'all. Man, we still got 50 people hanging out with us. Yeah, love y'all. Thank y'all. Bless y'all. Once again, if you need anything, if you can help me, hit me up at Children's Greens and Cornbread. Especially if you haven't signed up for the poll box. I get a lot of people asking me, "Hey, man, freaking how can I do the book?" Well, send me an email to, send me a message to my Instagram on Children's Greens and Cornbread. Actually, let me think about this. A lot of people might not know how to spell chitlins.
It's right there on the screen.
Yeah,
it's right there on the screen.
Well, some people might just be listening, like driving and freaking listening.
Oh yeah.
So, Charlie Hotel India Tango Lima India November Sierra. That's how you spell chitlins, which are delicious with the right hot sauce and salt, by the way. And you'll find me on either TikTok or YouTube and whatnot. I'm definitely trying to have some sales. I'm definitely trying to. Aaron, pay attention to Aaron. I think you're going to have some stuff this weekend.
Yep. I think I'm going to try to do baseball single cards and stuff like that. I have way too many cards now in my collection, so try to thin out the herd. You know, some good prospects and cards that people want. And then Sunday I'll definitely be doing comics. I'm excited about next week. I am getting a box of Upper Deck Skybox Metal Spider-Man hobby box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got a really good deal on the box, and I was like, can you keep it sealed? I'll buy it. And then they're like, okay. And then I was like,
yeah, that's the best thing. Like, if you ever come across a whatnot, and they want to, and they're just selling cards, man, just take the time to tell them, don't break my shit, don't rip it, just send it to me.
Yeah.
That's the best thing for you.
I always have the option too. Like, if you just want to buy something, I'll ship it to you. If you want to rip it, enjoy it yourself. But yeah,
I mean, it is fun, right? But
it's that excitement, right? It's right there right now. You own it. I'll pack it up, send it to you safely.
Yeah. So just remember, for my whatnot comic joints, once I hit $50 in sales, every sale after that, there's a giveaway.
Nice.
Right, so you spin the freaking wheel, you get freaking the comics. I'm trying to get rid of all these no-name fucking comics that I got, or actually they're not no-name, but shit that I can't fucking use. And some of them are fucking posters. I just got a whole bunch of fucking posters and shit. And we're not talking about the cheap shit. We're talking about shit that these fuckers love giving me, and like these fucking samplers and fucking thick ass posters and shit. Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of that shit because if we can clean up around here. But the main giveaway prize is the Absolute Football pack, right? Because remember the main thing is the Kaboom, Kaboom, right? Which can be like $1,000 for some of those freaking cards, right?
Yeah.
So again,
life-changing card.
It can be. Can't be. I still remember freaking. I don't know what it is, man, but shit that fucking comes out of here, man, out of my freaking house, man, freaking tend to have some freaking luck. I've had several people freaking hit me up, say, "Hey, man, freaking, you sent me that shit. Shit turned out freaking it's like $1,000 freaking card. Fucking, I dropped off some cards to Brian in Baltimore.
He pulled that soccer player.
He played. He pulled a $3,000 fucking card.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that's freaking awesome, man.
And then we have World Cup right around the corner too.
Woo! And I've got.
Are you stacking up soccer?
Yeah,
Are you stacking up soccer?
Yeah,
I've been stacking up soccer as well.
Not stacking up. I just got Bundesliga, and I've got Top Finest.
Nice.
Soccer.
Yeah,
So,
I held back a couple of the UEFA Top Scrum boxes, so I have like 2 lights, and I think I have a hobby box as well. Holding back some Prism UEFA mega boxes. I picked up some other stuff, but as soon as I get it in hand, I don't want to like say what I have and I don't end up with it, right?
Yeah. All right, man. But that's it for this week. Once again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, go ahead and subscribe. Or you can also always go to Comic Book Conglomerate. We haven't changed over everything yet. Go over to the Comic Book Conglomerate, start subscribing now, so that as we start to transition over, you're already there already. If you need more help with anything, whether it be comics, art, fucking cards, any of that shit, just freaking let me know, or let Aaron know, or Adam know. He might tell you to go fuck off or something like that. But he also, but it is what it is. What's up, Adam?
Like I said, just don't message me like Thursday or Friday of this week because I may not be in the best of spirits.
Look, what are you starting Operation Pegasus already?
What's that?
Are you starting Operation Pegasus already? Did you find a girl already?
I wish. That would just basically.
Man, you think you could find more girls to go take the thing up your ass and shit, but I guess it's no.
Actually,
they're all about eating ass.
Weeks, that would be a picnic.
Yeah, these girls are all about eating ass, but sometimes when it talks about freaking putting things up a guy's ass, man, they're like, "Oh man, you're gonna have to pay me."
Oh, you always pay. Trust me. One way or another, you pay. I just want to thank the community for all the well wishes and all the kind thoughts. And it's really been helping me in the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
I just want to tell the community that I love them and I thank them for everything, man.
Absolutely. Stay strong, Adam. Shout out to freaking Remo. Shout out to Mighty Mel, who was hanging out in the chat. Shout out to Hive coming by. Shout out to fucking Gary Nesser, just comic perspective, for stopping by. Hopefully we'll have him back next week.
And that was great having him on.
Yeah, that was awesome sauce.
Do pay attention to Comic Crusaders, because I'm thinking about doing another random freaking preview freaking joint. I will always invite every single one of these motherfuckers in case they want to freaking get drunk and freaking stop by. I'm thinking of doing another one. Also, Labor Day, make sure you stay safe. Chill out with the fucking fireworks. Go ahead and freaking get your cast.
People in the neighborhood have dogs, and fireworks just make them go nuts.
Well, you got an outside animal inside and shit. You know what I mean? No. It's whatever, man. It's whatever. So God bless the little animals with no survival. Yeah. All right, but once again, we had fun. Thank y'all. Love y'all. We're out.
For each man in his time to take, until he walks along the beach and sees his future in the water, along the arm within his reach.
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
As you guys know,